hello. Hello, voidlings. Welcome to what apparently is Mama's stream for wayward voidlings who seem to be falling apart. Darlings, I am so sorry that several of you seem to be having a not so good, very bad day right now. I have awoken. King darling, hello, hello. Did you have a good nap? Why did I wake to depression? darling, we all wake to depression. There it is. That's what I was waiting for. Hi, Frost baby. Now, I know that you said that talking would be a little bit easier. I'm not entirely certain what's going on right now. But what I can tell you is that it's going to be okay, baby. Mama's here. We're going to have a nice, soothing stream. And whatever it is can just go away for a little while. You're doing so good, and I know it's a little much right now when you have that feeling in your throat and in your chest, and everything is just so overwhelming. So I want you to just breathe through it, breathe with me, relax here with me, focus here, and let whatever it is that is just writhing in the back of your head go away for a little while. Let it be quiet. Let it rage in some dark little void pocket where it cannot touch you for the moment. Exactly, Iris. That is exactly the plan. As for King, why did I wake up to depression? Well, darling, that is what a lot of people ask themselves every day. Unfortunately. Night of the Living Cookie. Hey, honey. Oh, Xavier's looking lovely and dirty and scruffed, and I'm just like, I love a good handyman. And what King says is absolutely true, Frost. Baby, I did see your tattoo. It looks so good. And I love that you named it Mephi. I mean, a little bit, yeah. But I mean, you could have also named him. Well, the difference between crows and ravens, it depends on how prescriptive you want to be. You could have also gone with a couple of other. But I like that you called him Mephi. Also, hello, Winter. And consider this a shout out to all my lurkers. I know you're there. Not everybody likes to play and chat, whether on YouTube or Twitch, and that's perfectly fine. You don't have to say a word. Mama knows you're there, and you're welcome here. The original Crow is so good, and the death of the actor is so tragic. Also, hello to Nikki T. Thank you so much for joining today's stream. Do you have a physical ailment? What can Mama do for you? How's your nose? Are you breathing? So, today, we're continuing. Yay! We love a dilator so that you can breathe. Oxygen is critical. So, as I said, we are continuing our journey in the world underneath. Mama will be reading to you today and probably next week and the week after that. The goal is, I'm hoping at least to get through stories 11 through 15, so I'd like to get down to Sketches Volume 13. We're gonna see how well we go. I don't know why. Thank you, Dolores, for hanging out. You can absolutely go on mute, do whatever you need to do. Apparently Ms. has chosen violence. This is a reading stream, ma'am. Why must you bring battle into it? Okay, so apparently the first thing we're going to do, hello Caleb, is a singular battle. Because my middle child likes to torture me. Let's go with an open orbit. Make sure everything is set and done. It only makes sense for when we're doing story stuff and there's battle there. This is a reading stream. I'm being punished. I know you cannot, Cookie, you have no idea how excited I am that there will be no Great Gatsby. I am so excited that there is no Great Gatsby. I don't need to associate any of the Love and Deepspace boys with that level of trauma. I hate that thing so much. So I'm looking forward to the multi being something else entirely. Also, hi Mad Kitty. Thank you for joining the stream and stopping by over on YouTube. Now, as always, fun folks, you can be as interactive as you like. I have not done the preset option for the protocores because Nikki has worked really, really hard to put protocores on my cards, and I'm not gonna fuck that up. Because the last time I did an auto put the protocore thing, it undid a lot of work and I didn't understand what was happening. And Nikki gave me such a stare like you would not believe, like she was going to literally reach across the space and make me relive some Japanese trauma I had when we last were together. So no, I don't touch the protocores. I leave that to Nikki. Or in the or if I'm being properly supervised by Professor Shadowfax. That's like the only two ways I will touch those protocores. How many protocores do I have right now? Let us come here, darlings. Protocores. I'm sitting at 148. I'm wondering. Hold on. Oh, I haven't done that recently. There we go. 1,255. I'm due for another purge. It's fine. It's cool. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. Yeah, Nikki's not really a fan of the preset either, Winter. Look, Shadow, your filters are working. They're doing things. I just gain new stuff and need more filters. So, anyway, I've talked long enough to get out of this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and accept my fate. Let's get this done so we can get to reading. Again, do I know what I do? Nope, don't know what I'm doing. We're just gonna press some buttons and hope for the best.
It doesn't smell appetizing.
This one's worthy of your attention.
This is a warm-up, my lady. Be careful. Don't let it hit you.
Time to make it bleed.
As you wish. We're halfway there.
It won't take long for us to be done.
Look out.
Taste our bloodlust.
Then perish.
I'll show you.
Just be
It's time to meet your maker. Be careful. Don't let it through blood and bone.
So hot and sexy.
It's a small gift.
Everyone who receives your gifts.
I thirst for blood.
I summon you.
I'm ready. I'll follow your
Daddy's for
lead.
free. And I'll feed you
bad.
soon, baby. As
Eat
soon as I
this.
figure out- Roses on the ground. Roses on the ground.
I wouldn't say I'm satisfied.
You have quite the appetite.
You're too close.
Let the blood feast begin.
Together, we descend.
Bring it on.
It's a small gift.
Here we go.
Listen to fate's dying echo.
Summon Death's shadow.
I love this animation.
Now, fall into infernal abyss. Are you up for a joyride later?
Where do you want to take me?
Guess.
Yay! I survived. So yes, where am I? Okay, so I'm at 227 out of 250 on my open orbits. I need to finish off my open orbits. Where am I? I'm at 58. Yes. On the others. And the rest of them are all maxed out. Yay! I finally made it to the end. Waiting for the next update. And I'm missing 1 star on Senior Hunt contest because Nikki's got to come get me my last star. Otto took care of the rest of it. Blessed be Otto. Just gonna go ahead and grab my freebies and my dailies while I'm here. Okay, so let us have you, by the way, this is your reminder. This is your reminder. Make sure that you are getting your let's make sure you are checking in for your Xavier. We love a man when he's all greased up and dirty. Makes getting him clean so much more fun. By the way, children, Mama has all 3. Xavier came home today. I was so excited. So I am content. I have a few cards left, so I'll do some polling probably tomorrow. But that is the end of it, my darlings. I hope your boys come home for you. For those of you who are Xavier and Zayne and Rafayel mains. I forgot how much I just listening to these. It's such a flashback. Such a flashback. Dolly Delore, hi, baby. Welcome, welcome, Dolly. Okay, so I promised you reading. That's what's gonna happen. These stories have been getting longer and juicier, so I'm hoping I can make it through all 5 today. Oh, sneezing. Also, let's hope that gnats don't fly in my face today. Mama's at war, kids. The gnats are out, and I have to buy more Zevo traps because I replaced them last night. One of them's already full up again. So I'm like, cool, I gotta get to sticky stuff for the plants. It's gonna be... Summer is here and I am displeased. The bugs are out and I hate it. Yay! Xavier came home for you, Oblique. I love it. I love it, I love it. It's such a good card. I'm glad you could make it too, Dolly. So, as always, I know some of you have done all the world underneath, some of you have not. We are gonna roll through and I'm going to do my best at reading aloud. Sometimes my brain does funny things with words. But that should never stop you, children. Don't let your brain stop you from doing things. Do them anyway. And don't worry if you sound silly when you do it. Everybody's silly. It's just the way the world is. So we're going to start with, I forget what this one is. Oh yes, Frontline Hunter is where we're going to start. Story 11. Oh, Dolly, thank you for the tier 1 sub. Sorry, Charter, I misread that. Charter, thank you so much for the gifted sub to Dolly. We appreciate you. Those ad breaks are a bitch. Boop. As a reminder, folks, make sure that you are following on or subscribed on YouTube so you catch all the streams. I'm a ridiculously consistent streamer. I have a routine, and I will maintain my routine. 'Tis the way of it. Also, Gremlin, we are still working on Milkshake as the daily special for Gremlin to unlock his color. Hi, Bo. Hi, honey. Oop. One day I will get you in a cat cafe working again. Today is not that day, but we still have the cozy cafe for funsies. Oh, wait, hold on. I forgot, we must tithe to the tiny god before I begin. Alright, so for those of you, my darlings, who are still pulling for your boy, we will make offerings to the tiny god. The little greedy tiny god today, Lord. Thinks you have to actually chew your food. Yes, there you go. Our offerings have been accepted by the tiny god. May your algorithm be blessed and Carter get fucked as your boy comes home for you as many times as you like. I know you can't order your snowman, Frost. I'm so sorry. I don't know why Unicat's being a bitch. But we will make it work. I will figure it out. I don't know when, I don't know where, but I will figure it out. Okay, so Chapter 1, Hunter Dispatch Center. Beep, beep. It's the middle of the night at the Hunters Association. In the center of the room, a holographic control console displays a 3D map of Lincoln City. A blinking red dot keeps flashing at one spot. Then, a hand reaches out and silences the alert. Lincoln Hunter Dispatch Center, how may I help you? Stay calm. We have your location. Head to the nearest shelter immediately to avoid another wanderer attack. Colin, who has been a hunter dispatcher for 12 years, handles emergencies like it's nothing. He quickly forwards the incident details to the nearest hunters on the map. Almost immediately, two small blue dots on the holographic display begin racing toward the yellow one. A timer appears overhead. 10 precious minutes for the rescue to succeed. Deployed medical teams, hazard alarms, real-time positioning now active. The dispatchers coordinate seamlessly, their hands moving swiftly across an array of holographic screens. Together, they weave an invisible safety net over Lincoln. Finally, the yellow dot disappears from the map. The countdown stops at 8:27. Colin watches the holographic map return to normal. He sighs in relief, sorts through the information he collected, and begins drafting his first incident report of the day. Hunter Dispatch Center Incident Report. Case number LK204X01101. Incident type, Wanderer attack. Threat level, C class. Details, a single Wanderer, an elemental subspecies, appeared in the riverside area of the Imperial Ring District. The target was neutralized and the cleanup crew has been notified. No civilian casualties. Status, resolved. Reporting dispatcher, Colin. That's a typical day at the Lincoln Hunter Dispatch Center. Ibo, in my Unicat Cafe, which is one of the extensions I usually have on my Twitch channel, you can order food and drinks and things, and I made a bespoke menu that included special cocktails named after each of the love interests. So usually when Frost joins my stream, she orders the Snowman, which is Zayne's particular drink that I made. So I had the Snowman, Caleb was the Colonel's Orders, Sylus was the Silver Wing. Oh, and what did I name? I forget what did I name? What did I name the what was it? The Dark Knight King, yes. Xavier was the Dark Knight King, and Rafayel was the title Heartbreak. And then we had the Sixth LI, which the description for that drink is, we can't tell you what's in it. You'll order it anyway. You won't regret it, probably. The Colonel's Orders is sweet honey whiskey on top, bitter dark rum underneath. Do not stir. Looks like the man you love, tastes like a warning. The Snowman was vanilla vodka, white chocolate liqueur, peppermint schnapps, topped with whipped cream. Looks cold, tastes like dessert. You already knew you'd order. The title Heartbreak is coconut rum, blue ocean water, passion fruit, and a salted rim. Dramatic, beautiful, and absolutely will make you cry on the beach at sunset. Worth it. The Dark Knight King is white rum, blue, I always mispronounce this, curacao, and a splash of starlight lemonade. Looks like the sky at midnight. Dangerously easy to drink. And then the Silver Wing is blackberry bourbon, black sugar syrup, a single smoked cherry. Dark, dangerous, somehow makes you feel safe. You ordered it twice. And then for those of you who can't make up your mind about which one you prefer today, there's always the Pixelated Boyfriend, which is rosé, raspberry liqueur, and a splash of champagne. Dangerously sweet, unrealistically perfect, will ruin you for real men. I worked hard on that damn drink list. Curacao, thank you, King. I worked really hard on that drink list and my food. I made an excellent menu, so it really hurts me that the extension is not working. Oh, I'm sneezing today. I had to do, I am not a bartender. I had to go, I was looking up drinks and combinations and things, and so I have no idea if they're gonna taste great. But they sound really yummy to me. And then I had, what other drinks? Oh, and then of course, you can't have a love and chick space, let alone a love and deep space menu without as a drink, emotional damage. Straight up whatever's left in the bottle, garnished with a single tear. And the void stares back. Black cherry energy drink with a shot of espresso and bad decisions. Y'all, I really had a lot of fun. I really did. If you're hungry, there was always the screaming internally salad. Looks healthy. Tastes like a cry for help. Delicious, though. And then there's voidling nuggets. Chaotic little bites. Nobody knows what's in them. Everyone loves them. The jump scare, which is a sandwich that looks completely normal. It is not normal. And if you have a bit of a sweet tooth craving, you could order the void cake, which is black velvet cake with no listed ingredients. It's perfect. Don't question it. Or cosmic horror pudding. You can't look directly at it. Tastes like the universe is ending. 5 stars. The forbidden macaroon. You were told not to order this. That's why you ordered it. Or midnight brownie perhaps might be your treat, which is dense, dark, and there are no survivors. But when in doubt, there's always a pixelated dream, which is cotton candy and chaos in a cup, dangerously pink and absolutely unhinged. If your appetite is much larger than that, children, may I suggest the Simp Sampler? A little taste of everything you didn't mean to fall for. No refunds, no regrets. You know which one is your favorite. Or there is always the English major. Too many layers, emotionally devastating, technically perfect, comes with a thesis statement instead of a description. If ramen's more your style, we do have some chaos ramen. Nobody agreed on the broth. It should not work this well. Finish the bowl or the void takes something precious. And as we read, if you want to order some existential crisis crepes, they're thin, folded in on themselves, filled with what am I doing with my life custard. Surprisingly good, makes everything worse. So yes, that is the menu for Mama Void. Y'all, the Forbidden Macaroon is absolutely Zayne's stripper name. That is canon now. Just walk into a strip joint. I'd like the Forbidden Macaroon for a private dance. Oh, Night of the Living Cookie, I love you. You know, I could be a mixologist. Except all my drinks would be sweet. Oh yes, the wish block. I do believe I had the wish block. Where was the wish block? Ah yes, the wish block special was a drink you could order. A drink you really wanted but couldn't have. It's just water. I forgot about the wish block special. But considering everybody's polls, several of you apparently did not forget it. No, I have not watched the new Frankenstein movie yet, darling. I will get to it. I promise I will get to it, King, so that we can discuss. I've been distracted by several things that needed my attention, so my apologies, but I will try and get a hold of it so I can watch it. And then we can discuss. All right, now that you all know the menu, you can make your decisions yourselves in the chat. Let us continue with chapter 2. Nikki, I knew you were going to clip that. I know, right? I was like, I have to have names that fit it because we like the buttery nipple, tequila sunrise, like kamikazes, touchdowns. Like, cocktails always have wild names. Honey, this is called Voidside Chat for a reason, Ibo. We're having a chat. You can't derail a chat, especially when the person running the chat has ADHD. This is merely a lovely garden path that we've gone down, and now we've circled back to the center of the garden. And I shall now enter down another garden path. That is Chapter 2, the 3-man robbery. "6 a.m. Lights remain on around the clock at the dispatch center. Lincoln Hunter Dispatch Center. How may I help? It's a wanderer. It's trying to kill us. Hurry! The call has barely gone through when frantic screams nearly burst Colin's eardrums. Stay calm and tell me about the situation to the best of your ability, he says as he hits the location tracker. A young man's shaky voice answers. There are 3 of us, and an older lady with her groceries. A loud roar drowns him out. Then, it's followed by blood-curdling screams. Are you still there? Hello? Hello? Colin's calls out to them, but there's only silence. Next to him, the surveillance officer pulls up local traffic feeds. Captain Colin, we've contacted the hunters on patrol. They need approximately 6 minutes to get there. 6 minutes? Colin feels powerless, definitely not powerful. Colin feels powerless. This is what usually happens. No matter how fast the dispatch center reacts, it still takes time for help to arrive. All they can do is provide the hunters with a clear route. And then... No! Let me go! Ah! The desperate shrieks returning through the speaker make everyone's stomach drop. Their worst nightmare is becoming a reality. Despite having heard these agonized cries countless times before, watching a life slip away in real time is still unsettling. Before a few dispatchers can turn away, gunfire erupts on the other end. The Wanderer lets out one last screech before falling to the ground with a heavy thud. They survived. Relieved, Colin glances at the map. He frowns when he notices the 2 blue dots are still too far away to have reached the designated site. The hunters haven't arrived, so who fired the shots? That's it? And you call this a robbery? Luckily for you, I took my gun for maintenance while I was out getting groceries. Otherwise, you'd be in real trouble. A confident female voice shouts. Robbery? Gun? Colin and his co-worker exchange looks of bewilderment. Before they can say anything, panic shouts come over the line again. Ma'am, it's standing back up. Help us, hurry. What are you doing? Get behind me. More shots ring out. Then the Wanderer's cry fades. Colin sees the yellow dot on the map disappear. Everyone at the dispatch center stares at one another in astonishment. Moments later, the comms crackle, and that same confident voice returns. Hello? Hunter's Dispatch Center? Colin responds immediately. Yes, we're here. Is anyone hurt? No injuries, but we'll need a cleanup crew for the mess. The response is quick. The Wanderer was an A-type. It's already been dealt with. Also, the security department should be dispatched. The victims were actually attempting a robbery. Please notify the Special Task Force to investigate. Understood. And you are? The practiced precision in her response has already given him the answer. Sure enough, the seasoned, composed voice on the other end confirms his suspicion. Retired Hunter, former sector, Dawn, ID number 10041. Hunter Dispatch Center Incident Report, case number LK204X01102. Incident type, Wanderer attack. Threat level, C class. Details: 3 young men attempted to rob a woman near a Bloomshore District market when a Wanderer, a bestial subspecies, appeared. The would-be victim eliminated the Wanderer with her own hunter-grade firearm. The woman was confirmed to be a retired hunter. Cleanup is en route and no civilian injuries were reported. Note, the 3 suspects have been turned over to the authorities for attempted robbery. Status, resolved. Reporting dispatcher, Colin. Colin finishes his report, glances at the clock, and realizes he missed lunch. He grabs a pack of instant noodles and heads to the break room. Noodles again? A colleague drops the latest Wanderer activity report in front of him when he returns to his desk. The Wanderers have been too active lately. Yeah, it's related to a Deepspace tunnel anomaly or a protocore malfunction. I hear they sent someone to investigate, but who knows what they'll find. His colleague plops into the chair next to him and sips his soy milk. Ugh. I told the cafeteria guy I wanted it sugar-free. I'm cutting back on sugar, and this just messed up my diet. Hey, at least we have a cafeteria, Colin smiles. The Alpha team doesn't get that luxury. True, but they're not stuck at a desk all day either. The colleague responded. Then he pauses, remembering the grueling practical assessments those people endure. Forget it. I guess I should just be... The communication device on the dispatch center buzzes again. Yeah, no, he could simp his soy milk. I don't judge people for what they simp for. But no, that was sip. Right, Key? How could they not have a cafeteria for Alpha Team? Of all the people. Especially for evolvers. I'm pretty sure that those people who are born as evolvers burn a crap ton of calories. Just to control and use their evol. I bet they're just like constantly eating for their metabolism. That's my own private theory, personally. I mean, to be fair, yes, they are canonically rarely in office. They're constantly patrolling and out doing stuff. Or, you know, on a lot of admin leave, like MC, who just has an endless supply of it. Like, I really want their labor laws. The amount of days off that MC gets to do stuff, I am so jealous. Exactly, Charter. That is why they are all snatched. They're just burning through. Okay. Chapter 3, The Counterfeit Protocore Case. To Colin's surprise, a familiar voice speaks. Hey, Captain Colin. It's me, Orson. An overly ingratiating tone comes through as soon as the call connects. Can you arrest me right now? Orson, the Lincoln City Police Department's infamous repeat offender, is known for protocore smuggling. Caught countless times, he's always finding a new way to stir up trouble. As a dispatcher, Colin usually doesn't deal with criminals directly. But Orson managed to change that when his greed for protocores led him to target live wanderers. Back then, a wanderer had him crawling around like a cornered rat. Desperate, he called the dispatch center for help. Thanks to Colin's quick thinking and precise directions, he survived long enough for the hunters to arrive. Without that, he'd probably be nothing more than a bloody smear under a wanderer's claw. To show his gratitude, Orson gifted Colin a ceremonial banner that had the following: The Voice of Salvation, a dispatcher protecting life itself. You little... Didn't 5 months in jail teach you anything? Colin feels a vein bulge at the sound of that familiar voice. I swear I'm not smuggling protocores this time, Orson stammers. I'm just selling rock candy. That's all. Orson isn't illegally selling protocors this time. He's making rock candy that looks like protocors. Since his buyers don't dare to report him, his scam thrives. I can't believe I forgot about this. I forgot about the rock candy. It's even disrupting the market with cheap prices, but his success doesn't go unnoticed. A crime syndicate involved in protocor smuggling has marked him as a target. Orson, you really are a piece of work, Colin says through gritted teeth. Please, Captain Colin, send over a hunter to save me. They've tracked me down and are outside my house with protocor weapons. If they get me, I'm as good as dead. Orson's voice cracks from desperation. As much as Colin wants to ignore him, he knows he can't. Protocor smuggling isn't a minor crime, and dealing with an organized gang armed with protocor weapons is far beyond what a simple hunter can do. Activate the emergency response protocol, Colin states without hesitation. Understood. The surveillance officer's fingers race across the keyboard, and the yellow dot on the holographic map flashes red. The emergency response protocol is a high-level procedure triggered only for threats equivalent to 5 or more wanderers. It requires the coordinated effort of at least 5 hunters. After issuing the order, Colin is worried about whether or not they can gather enough hunters in time. To his surprise, the mission is accepted almost immediately. 2 blue dots light up on the screen, and Colin lets out a sigh of relief. Good, now we just need 3 more. His words catch in his throat as his eyes widen. The 2 blue dots are charging into the rescue zone. Send a message to intercept them right now. Colin feels his head start to pound. This is clearly a high-level mission. Are they out of their minds? Wait! Excited, the surveillance officer calls out. I think they're from unicorns. Unicorns? Are you sure? Colin whirls around. Every hunter knows about unicorns. They're the best combat unit under the Hunters Association, known for their unmatched power and fast responses. They specialize in tackling extremely dangerous wanderer incidents that regular hunters can't handle. Colin has never met them, but he heard the stories. Their elite sector is small and notoriously unconventional. One rumor claims a unicorn's hunter once blew up an entire subway station just to take down a wanderer. They're definitely not the kind of people he wants to mess with. But right now, that's exactly what he needs. Captain Colin, they're here. Orson's voice crackles through the communications device. He's tense and shaky. But there's only 2 of them. Can they handle this? There are 8 or 9 guys here. Oh! Orson lets out a startled cry as chaos erupts on the other end of the communication device. It's followed by panicked screams. Orson? Orson! Colin calls out, his voice tinged with urgency. Just as everyone is holding their breath, Orson's voice comes through again. Captain Colin, the people you sent are insane. They just showed up and everyone went down. Protocor weapons? They'd even give a chance to pull them out. Everyone in the room collectively sighs in relief. Good, we'll send someone to pick you up. Stay put. Colin frowns and hears a strange crunching sound from the communication device. Before he can ask, a clear female voice shouts, Xavier, stop eating the evidence! Hunter Dispatch Center Incident Report. Case number LK204 X01103. Incident type protocor smuggling. Threat level A class. Details: Shellbank District. Orson, a repeat offender with 8 protocor smuggling charges, sought assistance from the dispatch center after facing retaliation from a crime syndicate over his sale of counterfeit protocors that were actually dyed rock candy. The involved criminal organization has been successfully apprehended. Orson, the reporting party, has been handed over to the relevant authorities for the investigation of fraud. Note, a portion of the evidence is suspected to have been consumed. Status resolved. Reporting dispatcher, Colin. For the love of God, Xavier, really? Really, Xavier? Also, to have a little tinfoil hat moment, are we going to discuss the fact that the unit is called Unicorns? When MC's pet name at Gaia Research Center when she was an experiment was Unicorn? And by pet name, I mean code name. That seems a little interesting, don't you think? Key, nope, no follow-up questions. We are going to go with the MC half of questioning, which is there is none. Just want to throw that out there real quick. Oh, I do not doubt that Ever has at least a mole or two. I think that the association has a couple of moles. Some may be for Ever, some may be for the fleet. I wouldn't put it past Caleb to have his own personal mole in the damn association, but that's just me. Jenna did handpick. But so far, I don't know. I don't think Jenna's compromised. I don't think so yet. Winter, I'll just put this over here with the rest of the conspiracy. Oh, from a narrative perspective, having Jenna be a mole or a traitor would be absolutely like... Oh, Charter, thank you again for a gifted sub. So he doesn't get kidnapped by the advoids. Ibo, boyfriend just asked me, are you compromised? Oh, Charter, thank you again for the gifted sub. Thank you so much for helping out the channel like that. I sincerely appreciate that. I remember that. I remember you and I talking about your name being Jenna and how it throws everything off when we talk about Jenna in the actual story. Your boyfriend cracks me up. Are you compromised? Are you a traitor? Jenna, don't go. Jenna, don't do it. Stay on the side of the light. Don't give in. It's not worth it. Ah, King, our permanent sleeper agent. Just the whisper of a pipsqueak and you click. Oh my gosh, children. Okay. Chapter 4, City Hero. Lincoln's Joy Sky offers the most comprehensive selection of fresh vegetables and fresh products at affordable prices. Colin steps out of the supermarket. He's holding a steaming box of fried chicken. He stretches, content. His busy day is finally over, and all he wants to do now is head home and enjoy some well-deserved rest. The supermarket is not far from his apartment. All it takes is a walk through the business district and the plaza. It's rush hour, and many parents are walking with their children. The setting sun lights up their joyful figures and casts bouncing shadows on the ground. Colin pauses, unable to look away from this heartwarming scene. It's something he hasn't seen in a long time. 1 second. I have to make a tiny little tweak. There we go. As a survivor of the 2034 Chrono Rift catastrophe, he, like countless others, knows how hard-won today's peace is. And like many people, he chose to be a guardian of this precious tranquility. But even guardians need rest. At least for tonight, he'll relax. Mommy, there's a lollipop in the sky. As he passes a small fountain, he hears a little girl shouting excitedly to her parents and pointing up at the sky. Colin thinks the child must be imagining candy in the clouds. He glances up at the sky, but that single look makes his blood run cold. A terrifying howl cuts through the air and is followed by the screams of frightened women. For a moment, no one reacts. Then, massive figures emerge from the dust, their bodies covered in jagged black crystals. Jenny! A mother in the distance stares in horror as the spot where her daughter stood is covered in rubble. Her legs give out, and she falls to the ground. Mommy! A cry rings out. Hope flickers back into the woman's tearful eyes. Ugh! Colin falls to the ground. He rolls a few times with the girl held tightly in his arms before stopping. As soon as he saw the wanderers, he dropped his fried chicken and sprinted over to save her. A sharp pain shoots through his back. He's dizzy, but he forces himself to dial a number on his communication device. Hunter Dispatch Center, how may I help? Wanderers at Silver Bay Creek Plaza. There's 3 of them, and they're highly dangerous. Send backup. Captain Colin? The voice on the other end pauses, then it adopts a serious tone. Understood. We'll contact all nearby hunters right now. Roar. Frustrated, the wanderers shriek. They're furious that their prey has escaped. Their massive forelimbs, reminiscent of bulldozer blades, dig into the ground. They surge toward them again. Clutching the child to his chest, Colin rolls to the side. The monster's limbs sweeps past them. It was close enough to graze his scalp. He shudders as he thinks about what would have happened if he had been a second slower. Boom! A powerful shockwave hurls Colin through the air. His vision darkens and the world spins uncontrollably. When he manages to lift his head, he sees another wanderer towering right in front of him. The ground trembles beneath its cry. Its massive compound eyes glint coldly as they turn downward. Energy particles gather in its gaping maw. Just a little longer. Colin clenches his fists. He forces himself to stay conscious. Rescue should be here any... Bang, bang, bang! Gunshots ring out in quick succession. A beam of light slices through the Wanderer's attack as 2 figures leap before Colin. Captain Jenna, we've arrived at the designated location. Colin's eyes snap open at the sound of a clear, authoritative female voice. A young man and woman stand before him. Their movements were swift like shooting stars. After finishing her report, the female hunter lowers her communication device and briefly checks on Colin. Confirming he's unhurt, she raises her weapon again. Let's move, Xavier. Without waiting, she dashes forward like an arrow. The male hunter, now a glowing blur, is right behind her. Roar! The wanderer gathers energy particles in its maw again. It's preparing to launch another attack, but the female hunter is faster. She leaps onto the monster's shoulder and fires her gun at point-blank range. Bang! At the same time, her partner's light blade pierces the creature's weak spot. The two hunters kill the Wanderer before it can deploy its proto-field. Stunned, Colin can only watch in silence. What seemed like a deadly threat moments ago now lies in pieces at their feet. They must be from unicorns. It's not long before the Wanderers are eliminated. As the last one collapses, applause and cheers erupt from the gathered crowd. Colin claps and puts extra effort into it. "Let's go, Xavier," the female hunter says to her partner. The young man nods and picks up the hot pot ingredients he dropped during the fight. Watching their figures disappear into the distance, Colin suddenly feels that Unicorn's eccentric methods don't seem strange anymore. At least they keep Lincoln City safe. A gentle tug on his sleeve interrupts his thoughts. Looking down, he sees the little girl he rescued staring at him. "Come here, mister. I want to tell you something." She beckons him closer with a secretive look on her face. Amused, Colin crouches down. "What is it?" Without warning, the little girl throws her arms around him. She's hugging him. "Thank you, mister. Thank you for protecting me," she says with a serious expression on her face. Colin watches her skip back to her family. A lump forms in his throat. He lowers his head and rubs his nose to hide his emotions. His gaze falls on the box of fried chicken lying where he had dropped it earlier. The first thing he needs to do is rest properly tonight. Yay, Colin! Right? Of course Xavier has food with him. There was no way Xavier was not going to have food on him. That's just the way this works. If there's one thing we can count on is Xavier's appetite. Again, I'm firmly convinced that that has to do with his evol. And that man is constantly eating. I know, he needs to stop eating the evidence. "Hello, my child. How can I assist you?" "I see you have arrived. Do you have some thoughts on the story I just read?" Yes. Uh-huh. Well, clearly Xavier's hungry. I know it's against protocol. Huh? Yes, I know. But his evol is doing stuff. No, I did not see the theory crafting about Andrew. Hello. Yes. You've come to say hello to the Voidlings? Are you offering them blessings on their pulls? Or just commenting on the story and the lore? Oh, thank you for the headbutt. I appreciate it. But here's the problem. While I'd love to hold you like a baby, Mama needs her hands so she can actually move the iPad. We're gonna have to figure a system out, baby. I know. I know, it's just a little binksy. Yes. He is now rubbing the mic. What? Why do you have your ears back? I'm going to have to put you down so that I can continue the stream, you know. But that's what I have to do. I know. Frost has heard your pleas for offerings and praise and worship and has decided you've earned a treat, my child. Yes, come here. This is from Frost. You cannot have the whole treat jar. You get 2. The tiny god is pleased with your offering, Frost. Okay. Now that we have, as always, been, received our tiny god, what was it with Andrew's evol in changing memories and stuff? If he's with Ever, he could be the reason that MC's memories got reset each time. Fair, but are we saying that Andrew was there at the Gaia Research Institute to reset her memories? I mean, it's an interesting theory, but we know that the Etch-a-Sketch that is MC's memories was confirmed going all the way back to her time with Ever at the Gaia Research Institute. I like the idea of where you're going. My thought would be, because of the fact that he can manipulate memory, he would be a perfect mole, because remember, if he can affect memory, that means nobody actually knows what Andrew looks like, because Andrew can change the memory of what he looks like to people, which means he can go in and out and go anywhere he wants, and nobody can ever truly recognize him if he doesn't want it, because he's altering everybody's memories. He could have had full-fledged conversations with people and then just removed that memory from them. Oh, I thought I saw Andrew. No, you didn't. I mean, there's still an absolute implication of that evol and what we could do with Andrew as the inside mole. But I don't think it has... I wouldn't connect it back to MC's memory issues. Those are well established canonically through all timelines. We just finished Frontline Hunter, and we are about to start Story 12, which is the Fractal Library Q&A. So we are chugging our lore train into Jasmine Town. Exactly, Winter. I don't connect Andrew to MC's memory loss, but 30 seconds is just enough to do damage on a memory. So there are other things he could be doing. Also, he could be playing down how powerful his evil actually is, because someone who can manipulate memory is incredibly dangerous. Oh, Frost! Honey, if you want to go play with the Zayne merch, there's nothing wrong with that. You and King just have very specific triggers that make you click links, and it's funny. Okay, here we go. Fractal Library Q&A. Chapter 1, Question 1. Why is it called the Fractal Library? Answer 1. Hello, welcome to the Fractal Library. Since this is the very first question in our guest book, I'd like to use it as a chance to share the library's story. I've never been the type to settle down. Over the years, I did all sorts of jobs: mason, gardener, delivery driver, janitor, clerk, and more. One day, I, drawn in by the peculiar name of this library, pushed open its doors. Inside, it was deserted and coated in dust. Driven by curiosity, I took a book from the shelf and opened it. In that instant, a new universe unfolded before my eyes, and I fell in love with this place. While I was engrossed in reading, a telephone at the front desk rang, its chime echoing through the library's towering halls. For some reason, I approached the counter and answered the phone as if beckoned by an unseen force. 10 minutes later, the call ended. I can't talk about what was discussed, but after that conversation, I became the library's administrator and finally understood why it's called the Fractal Library. Most of the books here are science fiction. Nearly every fictional universe inside them branches out after its own Big Bang and spawns countless worlds of infinite complexity. Yet their similarities are uncanny. The books themselves reflect this fractal nature, each with a sense of endless variety and overarching similarity. They highlight recursion, chapters mirroring the entire book, paragraphs echoing the chapter's themes, sentences extending the paragraph's ideas, multiple layers within their structure, like fractal patterns that reveal finer details, and non-linear complexity, interwoven narratives forming intricate dynamic patterns. Realizing this only made me love the library more. I've never met its actual owner, so sometimes I imagine what I'd do if I were in charge. Maybe I'd rename it. The word fractal is a bit abstract. I might call it the 10 Library. Instead, most of the books here are sci-fi, and every time I open a new one, I feel like I'm witnessing the birth of a universe that instant of 10 to the negative 33rd second bit, where the cosmos explodes from a tiny singularity. It's a name you could explain in a single sentence. Are you sure about that? Straightforward and easy to grasp. Again, are you really sure about that? Still, whenever I imagine making that change, the phone rings again and reminds me that this place already belongs to someone else. For those of you who don't do math like me, no, that's going to take more than just a single sentence explanation, sir. Chapter 2. Question 2. Why did you want to open this kind of library? Answer. First of all, I didn't open this library. It's always been here. I'm just a temporary administrator. But I can tell you why one phone call convinced me to stay outside from the money. Change is the only constant in the world. As I said before, I used to wander from place to place and never stayed in one spot for long. Over time, I learned to love that freewheeling life until I stumbled upon this library. Here, I found everything I had seen and experienced. Even if I traveled across the entire globe, it wouldn't add up to a fraction of what's contained in these shelves. This place holds countless stories and infinite possibilities from ancient times to modern days and distant oceans to nearby mountains. Human imagination truly knows no bounds. Many ancient myths have become today's reality. Perhaps all the things we consider impossible now and the mysteries we haven't observed really exist somewhere. Maybe in the future, or maybe in another universe. I choose to believe in the worlds that you can find in those stories. Even if I spent my entire life reading, I'd only explore a tiny quarter of this library. Yet this corner would still hold more wonders than I could ever encounter outside. As administrator, I feel like my journey has no end because I never know what awe-inspiring world awaits me each time I open a new book. There's another reason that's even more important. The more I read, the more I sense an unavoidable responsibility resting on my shoulders. I'm waiting for someone. I know an atheist will step through those doors one day. That person is the library's true owner. How do I know? Call it intuition. My curiosity refuses to let it go, so I need to see what kind of person would own a place like this. I'm certain that if I wait long enough, they'll appear before me. P.S. Dear readers, I hope you'll spare some time in this ever-changing world to read, explore times and places beyond your experience, and discover all that lies hidden within the pages. Question 3. Since there's an extensive collection, which book is the curator's favorite? Answer. First, let me say again that I am not the curator. I'm just an administrator. Now, about your question, let me think. Choosing a favorite. This is tough. I can't pick one, but I can tell you about a story that really stuck with me. I still think about it even when I finished reading it a long time ago. It was set in a world obsessed with efficiency. People had no names, only numbers. Those in power genetically screened embryos and, based on their results, decided their entire lives from what education they get, what work they'd do, whom they'd love and marry, and even the traits of their children. Everything was determined by genetics, and the talents bestowed by the gods were fully realized. Nature and nurture, when perfectly fused, left no room for debate. No matter where you looked, it seemed like flawless harmony. At first, the world seemed dazzlingly beautiful, and everyone believed this was exactly how the world should be. But the balance was shattered when a wealthy individual engineered a child without flaws. This child could adapt to anything. Yet he revered nothing. He soared above every rule and sneered at order itself. Cracks in the system appeared, and where there are cracks, rebellion follows. But we all know that rebels in any universe are branded as traitors, and they are forever condemned in history. I encountered another world. It was nothing like the harmonious place I described before. By the time I looked at it, it was already on the brink of death. Everyone but him had fallen victim to a virus that stripped away the human form and humanity. It turned people into an energy that would perish along with the planet. It reminded me of cancer cells, once harmless symbionts that entered a frenzy of endless replication until they destroyed their host and died with it. All of it done for the sake of immortality. To prevent this calamity from spreading elsewhere, he became the world's lone survivor. He had a single mission: eliminate every infected individual, root out every trace of this disease, and then guard those warm remains until they had fully crumbled away. He waited for what felt like an eternity until all drifted into emptiness. He became a prisoner of time, the embodiment of loneliness, forever the last person. And in the end, as the final speck of that world turned to dust, he vanished too. Now that I think about it, the stories that truly stay with me all seem to prove an old saying. Happy stories are the same, but unhappy stories each have their own kind of unhappiness. Once a story finds its perfect ending, it stops, and no one looks back. Imperfections, however, remain unforgettable. They echo without a response until the end of time. If these stories are someone's reality, if their worlds truly exist or once did, could they have been just experimental playgrounds for some god's whim? Bits and pieces thrown together without a second thought? Proportions guided by mood, one's failure after another? Each would be more fleeting than a grain of sand and a flicker of light. Well, doesn't that sound like an incarnation of Zayne? Frost, you got Sylus vibes from that? Because I got Zayne vibes from that. It very much reeks of early iteration of Dawnbreaker. And here's why I think the rebellion part still fits Zayne. The Zayne of this world is deeply controlled because of his fear of his own power. And also he's had time, he's met the Fractal Library, he's got some stuff bubbling in his head. But but if this is, say, an early form of Zayne, remember, God of Annihilation, don't forget that smirk on Zayne's face, children. Don't forget this man is a leather-wearing, mullet-loving, song to save the world kind of man. I think Zayne could absolutely be that one. Sylus deals in greed and desire and be careful what you wish for and the deal and animal instinct. Zayne rebelling against a system simply by adapting to it and wanting to see beyond his boundaries, that I could see. I could see a version of Zayne that is Icarus in the beginning. I think that's absolutely viable for his character. They are. There is, again, as I've mentioned before, I know there is a lot of new followers and subscribers. In one of the earlier Void Side chats, I discussed how one of the things we have to remember is that we've got this overarching thing of rebellion happening. I think I still have my notes. Yes, so you've got, here it is. All of them are rebelling. All of them are, choose your form of rebellion. You remember, Ms. So, just to rehash some of the, rebellions here. We have Xavier and the Backtrackers, who exist because Xavier refuses a future where Philos survives by turning MC into a constant battery. A sacrifice, a mechanism. He's trying to find an alternative that saves the planet without using her body as the cost. Rafayel is tied to a civilization that falls because he refuses ascension through her death. Lemuria is lost because he won't reignite the flame of the sea god by sacrificing MC, by cutting out her heart. His defiance isn't her heroic speech, it's a refusal so absolute it rewrites the entire history of his people. Zayne is out here as the god of destruction, trying to rewrite reality so MC doesn't die. He's not negotiating with the rules. He's trying to break the structure that keeps demanding her death as payment. Sylus is the inversion. And that's why his dynamic hits a little differently. With Sylus, MC is the first rebel. Now, again, this is all going off the idea, if we take their quote-unquote origin myth as their true first iteration. This is going off the idea that Cloudfall is the first go-round for these two, which I don't think it is, and that, you know, what's happening in Lightseeker and things of that nature. But going off what we know thus far, with Sylus, MC is the first rebel. She refuses his death and separation. She binds his soul to immortality and declares that only she can provide him a true death. It's a curse and a vow, and it flips the usual male lead defies fate to save her structure on its head. Sylus joins the cause because she starts it. And then we have Caleb, okay? Caleb just wants a world where they can be together and everyone stops taking pieces of them. He doesn't want divinity. He doesn't want cosmic rebellion as an identity. He wants the simplest impossible thing, which is a life that doesn't demand loss as the entry fee. So they're all rebels in a lot of different ways. And I can see Zayne in one of his earlier iterations, kind of like Icarus, and that being if we think of the iterations like a karmic cycle, one of the past iterations of Zayne could very much have been that kind of arrogance. As I said, you can see it in that smirk he gets when he gets Dommy. Like that one screenshot I took in Catch 22 when she's got the syringe to his throat and he has that fucking smirk, that grin. Zayne absolutely controls the hell out of himself because of all the things that are bubbling underneath. That man has got a lot of passion and a lot of feelings that are buried way deep. So Dawnbreaker is the hated loner. Remember, he's in Dawnbreaker's world, he's famous. Everybody knows Dawnbreaker's name. Everybody reviles him, considers him a serial killer. That's Dawnbreaker. That's the essence of Dawnbreaker. The question becomes how we connect Dawnbreaker to Zayne in terms of, is it an aspect of his personality and his soul in an alternate world? Is it a straight up full-blown iteration of Zayne that somehow these two have gotten connected? I don't see Sylus as being the one that guards against the chaos. It's just not, he in some ways, we can definitely say that Sylus is an anchor point in the N109 zone and maintains order and balance that is still highly chaotic by his existence. If Sylus were to leave the N109 zone, the power vacuum would be devastating. All the gangs that are kept in check by Sylus and Onakainis would go to town. There would be nothing left. I mean, there would be no safe point. There would be no safe houses. It would just be the Zoian hunt 24/7 until somebody came out of that alive. But that doesn't necessarily mean that Sylus is on the side of order. Sylus hangs out in this lovely liminal space of order and chaos where it's more of the same. There is order through chaos. He allows the N109 zone to function as itself. He doesn't impose his will. He just kind of goes, I'm here at the top. I'm going to do my business. Y'all are going to have dog eat dog. But if you step to me, you better be ready to step all the way through because I will put you down. It's as simple as that. He won't broker disrespect. Yes, Dolly, there's always that question of where in this timeline is Dawnbreaker? Is Dawnbreaker's reality a foreshadow of what happens with Carter and Exhart and the Alterum? Because he's killing Alterum. So is it that Dawnbreaker is that, or here's the other thing. Is it not that it's the future, but it's what would have happened if Zayne hadn't destroyed the evidence the first time around? That's the thing. Because remember, Zayne figured it out back in college and then went, nope, we're going to just destroy this entire project and everything we can. The problem is Carter was still alive at the end of that and still had had been working with Zayne, so he can recreate some of the things. He couldn't necessarily pull it off as well as Zayne, but he could recreate enough to restart the research. And it's not like Zayne was going to sit there and kill Carter, which in hindsight would have probably been the smart decision. But what if Dawnbreaker is the timeline where that research didn't get destroyed in its perfection and went from there, and now Dawnbreaker's out here doing stuff? It's the question of why Dawnbreaker and Zayne are tied together, I think, is a really important and profound one. Why this time? Why does Zayne get to play with two versions of himself? Where in every other iteration that we've seen in the Solars, there's only one Zayne. There's never been two at the same time, just one. But in this instance, we have Zayne and Dawnbreaker Zayne. And we know the Dawnbreaker Zayne can take over Zayne. So what exactly is Dawnbreaker to Zayne? How are they connected in this lifetime? Oh, Zayne has two wolves inside him, absolutely. I think that, I don't know if it's that MC doesn't exist, Laquan, which, by the way, hi, Laquan. I think that possibly it's a world where MC died too soon. Either she was never born, or she died way too soon. And we didn't get the full go-round with her. Granted, I feel like there's something else that's been discussed, but also a lot more stuff will be revealed as we continue to read through the world underneath. Because I know we're going to have more Dawnbreaker coming up, and some more discussion about that. But yes. Inside Zayne, there are two penguins. Oh, that Frost, that could be really fun and angsty. That Astra has Dawnbreaker's version of MC on ice somewhere. Possibly. Because Dawnbreaker is hunting down everyone who shows a sign of those crystals. So he is purging a virus, which is exactly like what we just read. So this is definitely Zayne coded. As much as we love Rebel Sylus. Lord, I'm looking through. So just as a fun fact, my children, 2, 4, 6, 7. I had 7 pages of notes for that discussion way back on in the original when we did the first arc of the main story. Yeah, this was before chapter 3, Talented Hunter. I had 7 pages about this, about time and fate and rebellion and themes. Yeah, 7 pages. Damn. I should probably make a short, more coherent video of what I wrote here about time cycles and fate thematically, with the breakdown about Mahakala and Kronos and the interpretation of time and fate. But yeah, 7 pages of notes on that. Because that's how I roll. All right, let us take a drink, everybody. Hydrate. Hydrate, children. Take a sip. Have some snacks. Thank you for hydrating, Gremlin. Ibo. Scrolling up. Yes, efficient world Goa Zayne and world on the brink of death Dawnbreaker Zayne. Yeah, it's... Yeah, the efficiency seems very Goa with the science, with his science and iterations and things of that nature. Yes, I agree. As I said, I feel like that story that's being told is very Zayne coded. And might be one of the times with Goa, but it does say that the man faded at the end when everything faded. So I wonder if that predates God of Annihilation or is after God of Annihilation. It feels like it predates it because God of Annihilation was rolling around to the different worlds. But we shall continue reading and we shall continue diving. With our tinfoil hats, children, and our red strings of fate and conspiracy, we continue. Chapter 4, Question 4. What is your ideal future, and what would your ideal world look like? Answer. It's interesting that you asked about an ideal future after we talked about books. Perhaps you noticed how most sci-fi stories tell the future as one imagined at the time they were written. From the perspective of the end of time, the future is just another piece of that universe. The universe isn't good or bad. It's simply a collection of stories following their own laws. If you understand those laws, you can see the final page. That's the theory anyway. But stories come from life, and reality is often stranger than fiction. Even though this place has shown me countless possibilities, how I spend each day is still up to me. We might be tiny on a cosmic scale, but within our own little universes, we're everything. Even if we use knowledge to predict where the world might go, we can't be sure of our own future. Maybe that uncertainty is what I find most ideal. I just noticed I'm humming a little tune. It's amazing how long I've been here. I've picked up habits from those around me. As for the ideal world, if I must respond, I suppose the utopia is so often mentioned in books sounds appealing. It's a place where everyone can be who they want and live as they wish, but a world with nothing but light and no darkness is a stagnant and dead pond. Such a place can never exist. Still, I hope everyone can become their own utopia. After all, there is no law against making a wish, right? People can wish wherever and whenever they please, and I'll write my sincere blessings for every reader here. Chapter 5. To be continued. Hello? According to my calendar, it's not time yet. When the moment arrives, I'm sure he'll come looking for me. Almost there. Give me a break. We'll know the truth soon enough. And if he doesn't show up, well, we know exactly where to find him, right? By the way, how did that new book of yours turn out? When can I read it? Oh, it failed again? That's okay. The one I'm working on now is long, so there's still hope. Stop nagging me! Okay. If he doesn't appear, I'll find him myself. I have to get back to work. I'm in Lincoln City now, so I have to stick to the schedule here. Bye! After hanging up, I notice the clock above the door say it's 10 a.m. No one manages time as precisely as that caller. I draw back the curtains, open the door, and breathe in the scent wafting in from the cafe next door. Standing outside, I stretch and order my morning treat. A 100% sugar sea salt cheese latte with double whipped cream and chocolate drizzle. It's a sweet dopamine rush to kick off a lovely day. I'm sorry, are we implying anybody tied with fate in the Fractal Library is a sugar addict? A child, perhaps 7 or 8, stops at my doorway and peeks inside, but he doesn't enter. Do you want to come in and look around? The child glances hesitantly at the sign on the dorm frame. I realize my mistake and flip the closed sign. He follows me into the library, opens the guest book by the counter, reads a few lines, and then scans the room while being puzzled. He soon meets my gaze. A library, but most of these things don't look like books. What a perceptive kid. That's another reason for me to love this place. You're right, a lot of the things here aren't what you'd call books, but let's call them books for the sake of convenience. Can I check out the things that don't look like books too? Of course. When you want to read them, they'll take on a form that's easy for you to understand. Books are an ideal medium, but if you prefer cartoons, that works too. Wow, that's amazing! As the child loses himself in this new discovery, I lean against the door frame and watch the busy street. If each book holds a tiny world, and everyone who enters a library seeks some kind of answer, then I hope you find your own singularity in this little library, your personal starting point, your own universe. I might not meet all of your expectations, but I'll still say the following with sincerity. Hello. Welcome to the Fractal Library. There we go. So that was the Fractal Library. Mel! Hey, honey. Let us continue on. We now reach Story 13, High and Low Culture. Chapter 1, Artist Life Insider. Special feature, Balancing Art and Livelihood. Art is liberating, rebellious, and uncompromising. Yet when art intersects with markets, promotion, and commercialization, artists often need a trusted partner. Someone who can help them step out of their own world and connect with the outside. Today, we have the privilege of interviewing Mr. Thomas, Rafayel's gallery manager. While Rafayel's paintings overflow with personality and romance, Thomas's work lies in finding balance within this freedom, paving the perfect path between artistic creation and the art market. Join us for the issue 14 of Artist Life Insider as we delve into the gallery manager, Thomas's story. Opening, Mr. Thomas, hello. Thank you for taking the time for this interview. Could you start with a self-introduction to help our readers understand your background and work? Hello, everyone. I'm Thomas. No need for formalities, just Thomas is fine, like how Rafayel calls me. I've been in art management for several years now. I started as an agent and later partnered with Rafayel to open a gallery focusing on curation and contemporary art promotion. Rafayel and I aren't just business partners. I'd say we've been friends for many years now. Question 1. As both an artist's manager and gallery director, what do you find most challenging in your daily work? Finding Rafayel without a doubt. Did you expect me to talk about business negotiations or exhibition curation? Well, sure, the business side comes with all sorts of challenges, but those are just basic work to me. But what we haven't seen Rafayel at all today, have we? Question 2. The artists we've interviewed before all had their unique creative habits. Some keep their favorite plush bear nearby, while others must drink exactly 3 bubble teas before starting work. From your observation, does Rafayel have any such peculiar habits? Wait, they all have such odd habits? Thomas blinks in surprise before falling into deep thought for nearly a minute. When creating art, Rafayel likes to put his glass fish tank over his head to truly experience life from a fish perspective, to see the world through their eyes. Okay, he doesn't actually do that. I was just thinking how these quirky personas can be effective marketing for artists, but I couldn't come up with a good one on the spot. What, did you all actually believe that? I suppose artists could get away with anything these days. But if I had to point out something genuinely concerning, it would be how Rafayel completely forgets to eat when he's working. I used to bring food to his studio just to make sure he hadn't passed out from hunger. Though lately, I don't have to worry about that anymore. When we tried to inquire about this recent change, Thomas insisted it was a private matter of Rafayel's and politely declined to elaborate further. So, is Rafayel the type to forget to eat when he's working? I don't think he sees painting as work at all. How can you tell if Rafayel is getting inspiration or just spacing out? Ah well, I never ask him directly. He always says he's getting inspiration. Question 3. Rafayel is an artist who pursues individuality and romance. Do you think commercialization restricts him? Oh, Night of the Living Cooking. He is absolutely busy eating MC. He is devouring her and having an excellent time. Because remember, children, it's canon. These boys eat. Especially Xavier in a pool. Moving on. Sometimes I wish it would, just a little. Thomas sighs wistfully at the thought. The thing is, Rafayel couldn't care less about how much his painting sells for, or his commercial value as an artist. We're only bound by the things we care about, aren't we? Question 4. Have you ever considered what would happen if Rafayel lost his creative spark? Winter, honey, I think it's everyone's most replayed Xavier card. Oh, he is. It is yummy. It is so yummy. There's a reason why he's wearing pants. He doesn't need what's happening there. He's all about that upper body. That's impossible. This was Thomas's most resolute answer of the entire interview. I love that this interview is turned into me reading a question and then making a dirty comment about what Xavier's doing and then moving back to the answer. The card is so good. Like, it's one of... as much as I'm joking about Xavier's eating habits in that card, The entire lingering lust banner was really well done. The stories were really well done. The aesthetic, the execution, and it also just happens to be really fucking yummy. And that Xavier card, he is, in the words of Ibo, thank you, darling, Xavier is definitely what we would call a cunning linguist. I think it's his special interest and hobby, I'm not gonna lie. Question 5. This interview will be released during art school admission season. Do you have any words for those who are about to enter this field? First, to all young, inspiring artists, congratulations on choosing a path full of challenges and endless possibilities. Second, there will certainly be moments of uncertainty along the way, but as long as you stay true to your artistic voice, you'll eventually find your own path. Who knows? Perhaps one of you will become as remarkable as Rafayel. I'll definitely be there to sign you when you do. Finally, try to dance with the industry. Art isn't just about creation. It's intimately connected with markets, audiences, and society. Understanding how the industry works and finding your place within it is an art itself. Your work will ultimately dialogue with the world through various channels. Here's to all the young artists. May you find the joy in the world of art. Chapter 2. Birthday. The scent of fresh vegetables still clinging to soil mingles with the sharp smell of raw meat, while the sound of haggling fills the air. In the market, Thomas's designer blue-gray coat stands out. A nearby elderly man in nothing but slippers and shorts for his grocery run. A nearby elderly man in nothing but slippers and shorts for his grocery run eyes Thomas's jingling metal necklace with visible disapproval. The produce vendor stares for a good 3 seconds before recognition dawns. Thomas? Solana was here this morning. Didn't you two coordinate? Getting all dressed up for your birthday, huh? The outfit, the hair, even makeup? Thomas carefully selects a few stalks of fresh green onions. Just getting something to make garlic shrimp for her. The styling is for magazine interview today. Wait, how did you know it's my birthday? Solana mentioned it this morning. The vendor weighs the green onions. What magazine? I'll buy a copy for you. No need. Sales numbers don't affect me. Thomas hands over the garlic and ginger. If you really want to show support, how about a discount? A discount? But my wholesale price is from the farmers. Solana told me you sold her Chinese cabbage for $15 this morning. Ah, fine. Here you go, Mr. Artist. Fussing over a few dollars, just take them. They're on the house. Thinking back to today's interview, while it wasn't meant to be impromptu, having Thomas as the interviewee was purely a work of mishap. I'm terribly sorry. I mentioned it to Rafayel, but I've been so swamped lately that I didn't realize I hadn't synced his schedule. He's probably off getting inspiration in some remote mountain with no signal again. Thomas apologizes profusely. Do you have a backup plan? If needed, I can help contact other artists we've worked with. But the magazine came specifically for Rafayel. The staff huddled together in discussion for several minutes before finally reaching a solution. Interview me? Me? Thomas points to himself in surprise. Art school admissions season waits for no one, and we need to submit the draft immediately, the staff explains. Please help us out, Mr. Thomas. We need something to fill the pages today. The interview itself turned out quite relaxed, and afterward, the staff invited him for seafood barbecue at White Sand Bay. They had actually brought a gift box of mantis shrimp as a gesture of sincerity, but with Rafayel absent, they had no choice but to enjoy an extra meal together. You all go ahead, Thomas waves them off. It's my birthday, so I'm heading home to celebrate with my wife. See, I knew I was right. Thomas is married. I'm not crazy. What? We had no idea you were married. Happy birthday, Thomas. This is so sudden, and we don't have anything else to give you, but please take this. Thomas feels the weight of the seafood gift box in his hand and looks at it in surprise, swallowing back his polite refusal. Well then, thank you everyone. I'll graciously accept. My wife happens to love garlic shrimp. Aw, you're so sweet. I will pause to take a sip of water here. Also, Mama loves garlic shrimp. Mama loves seafood in general. I adore seafood. Fish, scallops, oysters, mussels, clams, lobster, crab. You name it. I love it. Actually, I will take another sip of water. Thank you, darling. Ooh, garlic butter shrimp with Thai fried noodles. That sounds amazing. As Thomas opens his front door, he's struck by the thunderous sound of crying. Solana is cradling their wailing daughter, her gentle cooing doing little to soothe the baby. Thomas quickly sets down his things and rushes to the kitchen. With practiced movements, he mixes the hot and cold water, levels off a scoop of formula powder, pours it into the bottle, and shakes it thoroughly. After letting it settle, he tests the temperature against the back of his hands. 40 degrees Celsius. Perfect. Making formula for their daughter has turned both Thomas and Solana into human thermometers these days. The piercing wails finally subside with the warm bottle of formula. Solana gently pokes their daughter's chubby cheeks. You little glutton, you just had formula 2 hours ago. Don't listen to Mummy. You're not a glutton at all. Eat up. You'll grow big and strong. Just as they finally manage to get their daughter to sleep, the phone breaks the silence, undoing half an hour of the couple's efforts in an instant. First off, that's why you have all the phones on silent when there's a baby. Don't even. Vibration and silence. Don't wake the child. You put a note on that damn door so any delivery people don't knock. You murder anybody who wakes the child. Right, Charter? Like, nothing is sexier on a man than a loving, loyal spouse and being an involved, attentive father. Like, instant, like, just go up. While Solana hurries to comfort their crying daughter again, Thomas takes the call and walks to the balcony. After handling some business matters, Thomas ties on an apron and heads to the kitchen. As he pours the seafood from the gift box into the sink, water splashes up, and Solana chuckles while grabbing some paper towels to wipe his face. Just as he's about to start preparing the seafood, his phone buzzes in his pocket again. With both hands occupied, Solana takes out his phone and holds it to his ear. Thomas continues peeling shrimp while talking to the person on the other end. Regarding transportation, I've confirmed with the logistics company the timing works. The light design needs to be adjusted based on the exhibit's materials and color schemes to ensure proper presentation. We should use neutral tones for the background to avoid competing with the visual focus of the exhibits. As for the overall atmosphere, Thomas takes 4 phone calls in the time it takes to prepare dinner. Finally, as the couple enjoys their homey dinner of dishes and soup at the coffee table with their TV, Thomas's phone is silent, as if it too wants him to properly enjoy his birthday. While Solana grows to get the cake from the fridge, he quickly switches the mystery show on TV to his favorite romantic drama. Let's watch the meteor shower. Returning with the cake, Solana glances at the screen and sighs with familiar resignation. This show again? Are you sure you're really an art professional? High art meets pop culture meets high art. In the flickering candlelight, Thomas closes his eyes and makes his birthday wishes. May Solana be safe and happy. May our daughter grow up healthy and strong. May our family stay together forever. Oh, right. And Rafayel. Hope he gives me less to worry about this year, and may he and his Miss Bodyguard be happy together for a long, long time. The moment he blows out the candles, darkness falls, and his phone decides to vibrate at that exact moment. Thomas reaches for his phone with resignation, but upon seeing the caller's name, he springs to his feet. In one fluid motion, he throws on the blue-gray coat draped over his chair and heads to the entryway to change his shoes. It's Rafayel. If he's calling at this hour, it must be important. He's probably back in Lincoln. I need to go see him. We'll have the cake when I get back later. Answering the call, he hears Rafayel's unusually serious voice. Thomas, come to Mo, quickly. I have something extremely important to discuss with you. Thomas manages to take the call, change his shoes, and press the elevator button all in one seamless motion, taking no more than 10 seconds. Actually, I had something pretty important today too. I mentioned it to you, but I failed to put it in your schedule. That's my bad. Though it's all been taken care of now. Rafayel sounds confused. Huh? This needs to go in my schedule too? As the elevator dings open, the voice from the phone receiver merges with one in real space. Happy birthday! Thomas looks up to find two familiar faces, Rafayel and his Miss Bodyguard. Happy birthday, my friend! Seeing Thomas still stunned, Rafayel leans against the door frame and lifts the gift box in his right hand. Important business accomplished. This didn't need to go in my schedule, right? That's not what Thomas trails off with a helpless laugh, quickly accepting the gift box. Come up for a bit? Have some cake? Better not. You might lock me in and start demanding manuscript updates. The girl, still in her hunter's uniform, playfully shrugs and links arms with Rafayel. Free time is precious. Spend it with the ones who matter. We won't keep you any longer. Exactly. Stop thinking about work and watching my every move. Rafayel waves his hand with a light bye and turns away, walking into the evening breeze with Miss Bodyguard. And so Thomas returns to his doorstep, gift box in hand. Click. The key turns in the lock, and the corridor's motion sensor light flickers on. Behind the door, Solana's face lights up with pleasant surprise. You're back already? Nothing urgent with Rafayel. He just came to deliver this, he says, setting the gift box on the table with a gentle pat. Now then, let's go cut that cake. Sip of water for me. We love Rafikins. Oh, you know Thomas is going to eat his cake. He's going to have his cake and eat his cake too. It's going to be a good birthday for Thomas. Chapter 3. Microscope. Wish I could paint, says. As an art school applicant and devoted fan of Artist Life Insider, I heard this one would feature Rafayel. Saved it specially for the day before my entrance exam, hoping for some inspiration from my idol. But why did I get his manager instead? Potato Sect Leader. Why does this sound like people that actually follow me? Some of you would absolutely have these wacky ass names. I'm not gonna pull my punches here. Potato Sect Leader. Rafayel wasn't there, but his presence is everywhere. Think about it. Really think about it. Have fun getting kitten, Nikki. Frost, am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that King himself wouldn't call himself the Potato Sect Leader. Like, tell me I'm wrong. Wish I Could Paint sounds like Ditch having a moment of imposter syndrome. Like, I'm not wrong. Thank you, Key. I've been here for 2 hours. She's not wrong. I'm not wrong. I might have to refer to King as the potato sec leader moving forward. Momo says, I actually believe the part about him wearing a fishbowl while painting. Rafayel, writable fish dinner. Ms., why did that make me think of you? Rafayel, writable fish dinner says, it's thanks to having such a professional manager like Thomas that Rafayel can focus on creating art. Supporting Thomas! User 426835 says, so why exactly don't we need to worry about Rafayel starving anymore? Details, please. A little bit, Ms. Night reader of useless books. Night reader of useless books. Who does that sound like? I mean, it could sound like Zayne, but I'm mostly thinking which one of my voidlings it sounds like. Night Reader of Useless Books says, Raphael's truly strong for never complaining about the industry. Ah, Iris! That's it! Garlic Ship Supremacy. Iris and I have many lore and book discussions. No, definitely not the same degree as King. But Ms., aren't you also a Rafayel fan? Garlic Shrimp Supremacy says, Thomas clearly shows his expertise as a manager. The insights he shared in the interview are really valuable for anyone planning to enter the art industry. Good luck to everyone with their entrance exams. Confident women live best. When is Rafayel releasing new work? Just a Leak says, was hoping to read about a master artist journey in the special exam issue. Honestly, these titles. Exactly. I was making a joke about you being a Rafayel main, darling. That's why. Darling, I wasn't saying that screams you. I was talking about the I was talking about Raphael's writable fish dinner. That one. That was what I was referring to, darling. That's why Frost couldn't defend you. Not Caleb Pegme. That's absolutely King's username. That one right there. That one made me think of you. No child left behind, children. I will walk the joke through slowly till everyone gets it. I mean, to be fair, he absolutely is. Rafayel is what's on the menu. Eat the doctor's cookie. Yes, Cookie, that is absolutely. We're just gonna start. Okay, everybody, here's the gag. We're just gonna start calling King Potato Sec Leader. Don't tell him why. He's gonna wake up so confused. The art exam special is generating quite a buzz online. Thank you, Mr. Thomas. After hanging up, Thomas pauses his work and checks his phone, wondering if his insights had particularly resonated with art students and guided countless exam candidates. On the trending page, several topics are marked with red viral badges. Hashtag Artist Life Insider. Art Exam Special hashtag. I have to purposely make myself say hashtag because my millennial ass just goes pound. Every time I see it, I'm like, that's the pound sign. Don't mind me. I'm just going to go dial a rotary phone now and bust my hip. Hashtag Rafayel. True masters never complain about the industry. Hashtag Rafayel paints while wearing a fishbowl. Miss, that's my dirty joke for the night. I'm done. This hardly has anything to do with me. He scratches his head in confusion, opens a discussion thread, and scrolls through until he finds a few mentions of Thomas among the flood of Rafayel comments. Well, at least some people have the insight to recognize his expertise as an artist manager. Thomas turns off his phone with satisfaction and returns to work. Beside him, Solana suppresses a smile, quietly keeping her achievement to herself. Garlic shrimp supremacy, for sure. Welcome to joining the over 30 crowd, kids. Make sure you have your purse Advil and Tylenol and Excedrin. Be careful of sneezing. Also, yes, you can throw your back out while you're sleeping. I've done that, and that was fucked up. And not okay. We absolutely love a supportive wife, Key. Frost, you can absolutely be a temporary member of the Millennial Club. Night of the Living Cookie, it only counts as eating the evidence if he leaves nothing behind. Not a single solitary drop. Gen X in the house! Hi, Argent! We can be old together. It's super cute, and I love the implication about how bringing MC into Rafayel's life essentially like reconnects him with the living, with the world. I think before, in some ways, before his reconnection with MC, he was very much aloof and isolated and separate, alone, which we saw beforehand. With MC by his side, he's actually making connections again with the people around him, emotionally, to a degree as well. Please drive safe, Dolores. So I think this is a great one that shows how she's got him kind of, I know he's a Lumerian, but his humanity coming back to him, his light, his spark, his interaction with people. She just perks him up. And I love that. So we've now reached one of my favorite stories that I've read thus far with The World Underneath, which is Elysium, story 14. This has some of my favorite, this has, I think, my favorite NPC, one of my favorite NPCs. And I just love the story behind it. It's sad, but it's so good. It's so good. So let us. Ayo! She absolutely perks him up in more ways than one. Which, by the way, y'all, Mama's getting new emotes, and one of them is an AO emote because I know my voidlings. So don't you worry, kids. We're getting more emotes. I actually have some really fun emotes coming. Here. The funsies. There we go. Yeah, I got an AO emote. I got a couple of things going. So I can't wait to debut those for everybody. But yes, that it should feel targeted. It should absolutely feel targeted because Mama knows her children. So I've got a few new emotes that I think will fit this community very well. And how we function. Oh, we dirty-minded children. So, story 14, Elysium. Chapter 1, meeting. Yes, Frost, what would you like to request? Tell Mama. By the way, Iris, darling, if you ever watch this back or is still there, I hope your head is feeling better. Absolutely, honey. I am more than happy to give a freebie Squirtle Sax. Also, gentle reminder, kids, the soundboard is active and has a lot of fun sounds. Boop. Dance party. You're out of bits, Frost? I understand that. Also, everybody's budgeting right now because of the pools. I'm not too worried about it. Hee. Chapter 1. Meeting. Beep. Beep. The alarm sounds. Mr. P glances at his watch. It's 9:55 p.m. Time's almost up. He quickens his pace. He has a date he can't miss tonight. The sidewalks of the Umerta Street. Umerta? Yeah, I think that's as close as we're going to get. The sidewalks of Umerta Street are nearly empty in the darkness. For the opulent capital of crime, the N109 zone, this is just one of many waking hours. Neon lights blur into a misty haze, but Mr. P has no time to savor them. He lowers the brim of his hat, tightly pulls his coat, and keeps walking. He pauses at a window filled with over-the-top decorations. Plushy Bomb, the crown jewel of the shop. For displaying purposes only, not for sale. Chris's Antiques and Oddities. Behind the sign sits a frog plushie inside a bird cage. He checks his newly acquired diamond-studded watch. Well, there's still a bit of time. Welcome to Chris's Antiques and Oddities. Don't touch anything if you aren't buying, unless you're interested in a taste of lead. Behind the counter, the owner is glued to his phone. As Mr. P passes, he spots the title of a hot forum thread on the screen. Phantom Thief P pulls another time trick. $1 million blood diamond watch vanishes from Salon Hotel auction. Since when does the N109 zone start cheering for some second-rate thief? There are thousands of comments, too. If I met that guy, I'd crush him with one hand. The owner sneers, but he can't resist adding a post of his own. A few seconds later, a beep shatters the silence. The owner looks toward the sound. The shop's prized frog plushie has vanished from its cage. Only the diamond-studded watch shines dully in its place. On the street lined with bars, Mr. P emerges from an alley. He tosses the frog plushie in his hand. Then he drops its dismantled bomb into a trash can. Ugh, the design is outdated. At least the color still pops out. He straightens his hat. Behind him, neon lights quietly turn on and trace his figure in a faint glow. 10 p.m. That's when Elysium officially opens. Chapter 2. Elysium. Mr. P relaxes as the bar's comforting blues ease away his tension. New face, huh? What can I get you? Standing behind the counter, the woman with chestnut wavy locks props her chin up on her hand and smiles at him. I'll take the connoisseur's menu. The bar falls quiet for a second. The connoisseur's menu is the most infamous menu in the N109 zone. It's second to none. Not only do its dishes draw inspiration from the area's most celebrated eras and figures, but it also doubles as a top-secret ledger for intel training and deals with high stakes. A moment later, a thin menu slides over to Mr. P. Enjoy. Elysium, connoisseur's menu, tasting menu. Fill your empty soul to your heart's content. Do it. House special blend. 1/3 whiskey, 2 scoops of cream, 1 brown sugar cube, and a sprinkle of fate. Complimentary. Description: every gift comes with a hidden price, but this coffee is actually free. Do it can be a command or an expression of encouragement. Then again, some say to ignore people and do whatever you want. Mobster's salad. Mashed potatoes, eggs, fresh shrimp, chickpeas, and yogurt, all crushed together with desire. Description: they came here to survive. They drowned in their own greed. To those ruthless criminals we lost forever. Without them, the N109 zone wouldn't be what it is today, although they're no longer here to see it. Coward's shell. Fresh oysters, lemon juice, ground pepper, and a dash of courage. Description: without their sturdy shelter, the spineless remain spineless. That is why we built our foundation from the strongest materials. This dish honors those misfits who once graced our establishment. Without them, Elysium would never exist. Some exiles become worthless junk, and others transform into pearls. Is it the environment that determines their fate, or their own nature? The N109 Grand Platter. Venison from acorn-fed deer, white truffle cheese, white caviar, and blue lobster tart with mango. Complimentary to the true VIPs. Description: 4 distinct powers dominate the N109 zone. They are the true players at the N109 zone's gambling table. A platter of 4 rare delicacies. They don't complement each other. They're just equally expensive. Choose wisely. If you're unsure, try them one at a time. 24K exchange artist. Chicken leg cooked with scallion oil, soy sauce, salt, golden coconut oil, sesame oil, shredded ginger, and scallions. Comes with a dash of humor. Description: he's no thief. He's an artist who believes in fair exchange. Dedicated to the unseen phantom thief P. Everything has a price. Pain is traded for an equal amount of pain. Joy is exchanged an equal amount of joy. But is your happiness truly equal to mine? The point of no return. Smoked pigeon, saffron, pickled onions, barley, toasted truffle bread with au jus, and 100% trust. Description: at Charon, no deal goes unmade. The pigeon meat is from the market's arena, a rare delicacy available only this season. Pay the appropriate fee, and they will fulfill your every wish. Remember, once a deal is in place, there's no turning back. Strawberry Disaster Special. Strawberry ice cream, fresh strawberries, strawberry sauce, chocolate-covered strawberries, chili powder made from the red Savina pepper, and a 4-leaf clover. Description: if you survived 2036, the gang war that engulfed the N109 zone, this is the dessert you can't refuse. Rich ice cream wrapped in strawberry sauce and spiced with chili to sting your tongue. Like that night when the streets ran red, not all survivors were strong, and not all the strong survived. Wouldn't you agree, you lucky duck? Today's special, Sweet Evil Trap. Pepper walnut tart, rosemary gelato, pomegranate jelly, red wine marshmallow, and 10.5 grams of a soul. Description: I'm waiting for you. Special services: 1. Assassination. 2. Arms deals. 3. Infiltration. 4. Intel collection. 5. Mediation. 6. Biological substances. 7. Protocore trading. 8. Proxy deals. Today's special. Special notice. Menu items are subject to change due to seasonal availability and local logistics. Thank you for your understanding. Call me Aislinn. The curly-haired woman sets a cup of steaming coffee in front of Mr. P. This is our signature brew, on the house for those who choose the connoisseur's menu. It's been a while since anyone new asked for it, so I upgraded you to a large cup. Do it? Mr. P picks up the cup. Is this some kind of go-getter philosophy for life? Oh? Aislinn toys with a curl of her hair, so that's how some people interpret it. Do it. Just do as you're told. This is what Aislinn heard the most as a child. You worthless brat, do what I say. One more word and I'll kill you. By the time she was 12, Aislinn learned not to close her eyes when fists were flying. Keeping her eyes open let her read the direction of the blows, protect her face and gut, and choose where to fall to minimize injuries. Is it Aislinn or Ashlyn? I'm not entirely certain. This is me just butchering the name. My apologies. But I've always read it as Aislinn in my head. By the time she was 12, Aislinn learned not to close her eyes with when fists were flying. Keeping her eyes open let her read the direction of the blows, protect her face and gut, and choose where to fall to minimize injuries. Ashlyn? Yeah, Miz, you're with me. Like, Aislinn, it's Ashlyn Argent is what you're saying? I had wondered if there was a Gaelic vibe to it. Yeah, it's Irish and Gaelic, so it's pronounced Ashlyn. Okay, going forward from here, Ashlyn. She got lucky that time. He wore himself out quickly and sent her off to buy liquor. Before leaving, she glanced at the drunk who claimed to be her father. Of course, it was only true in the strictest biological sense. Then she limped away. Sometimes staying alive requires more than strength. It needs a bit of luck. Turning the corner, Ashlyn saw a striking woman leaning against a bar entrance and looking at her phone. Her tank top revealed sculpted muscles, and her short orange-red hair shined brilliantly under the sun. This was Ginevra, the bar's bouncer. Ashlyn knew her. She had seen Ginevra single-handedly knock down a group of drunks. They lay in a pile. She's amazing, even stronger than Dad. With that thought, Ashlyn couldn't help but move closer. Noticing her approach, Ginevra glanced up and laughed. "Hey kid, your face is quite the work of art." Ashlyn wiped her wet nose. The blood smeared across her swollen cheek. She was 12, malnourished, scrawny for her age. Still, she squared her shoulders and lifted her chin. "I'll pay you. Teach me how to fight, or at least let me follow you around." Without any hesitation, she shoved all the money that was meant for her father's liquor into Ginevra's hand. If she could become her sidekick, no one would dare to mess with her again. Ginevra didn't take the money. She crossed her arms and looked at Ashlyn. "What, you lost a playground scuffle and now you want lessons? I'm not into babysitting. I want my dad to be too scared to hit me again. Can you help me?" Ashlyn stood on her tiptoes and brought her bruised face closer. "You?" Ginevra looked interested for a moment, but her face fell when a drop of blood landed on her shoe. She heard Ginevra curse under her breath. Mr. P had barely tasted his drink before the drink's burning edge brings tears to his eyes. "Who puts booze in coffee?" 1/3 whiskey, 2 scoops of cream, 1 brown sugar cube, and a sprinkle of fate. With a knowing smile, Ashlyn taps the menu in front of Mr. P. "That's our signature blend." Now you may place, Chapter 3, Coward's Shell. Now you may place your order. Every dish comes with its own special seasonings, so our customers can choose what suits their palate. Take this one, for example. With brown nail polish shining, Ashlyn's finger glides along the menu surface until it settles beside a number. Coward's Shell. Fresh oysters with a bit of pepper and paired with the freshest sides, assassination, infiltration, and intel collection. A perfect balance of flavors. Following her finger, Mr. P looks at the menu. He's drawn to the text beneath the name. This dish honors those misfits who once graced our establishment? He's interested. In the N109 zone, everyone is practically an oddball. What kind of freak would ever stand out? Maybe it has something to do with the word coward. Aw, Ditch, thank you for the cheer. Yet no matter how he mulls it over, that word doesn't fit the N109 zone. After all, everyone here has blasted their way through swarms of wanderers to reach this forsaken pit. Oh, there are cowards here, Ashlyn says. It happened not long after Ashlyn and Ginevra settled down in the N109 zone. Bang! A cracked wooden door fell and a figure tumbled out amid splinters and shrieks. Just you wait, this isn't over. Oh, I'll wait all right, Ashlyn sneered. She leaned against the doorframe with a cocky stance she had picked up from Ginevra. Only after the man staggered away in fear did she turn to steady the bar's broken door. It was already the third batch of thugs this month who tried to extort protection fees since they opened Elysium. 2 years before, the Chrono Rift catastrophe struck. Abnormal protofield fluctuations reduced this prosperous tech hub into a lifeless husk. But no one had imagined that this perilous wasteland would become a haven for outlaws. Here, law and order meant nothing. Only strength ruled over the weak. Ginevra, why are we here? There isn't any sunlight and the conditions are awful. After walking into the room, Ashlyn grumbled and watched the orange-haired woman flex her wrists. Do I need to remind you that, Ginevra looked up with a small smile, this was my plan? You tagged along of your own volition. But we're family, of course I'll follow you. Ashlyn declared this as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. 11 years had passed since Ginevra took her in. Ginevra, why don't we head to Lincoln? We could open the bar there. No. Why not? We can make more money here. You're lying. You're not... Ashlyn cuts herself off and glared at Ginevra. You don't want money. You want to ditch me and have fun by yourself. You know me so well. Can you make my wish come true then? As if. You bought me to be your sidekick. I adopted you. Don't make me sound like a human trafficker. And that tiny sum you had wouldn't even buy a single decent bullet. Another feeble creak sounded at the bar's entrance, which cut their bickering short. Ashlyn glanced up and recognized the scared man. Scarred man. He gave her a curt nod and walked to Ginevra. They exchanged a glance and silently slipped into the kitchen in the back. Alone, Ashlyn calmly picked up a broom and began sweeping the scattered debris. As she swept, she moved closer to the kitchen and overheard snippets of a conversation. It sounded like the scarred man wanted Ginevra's help in finding someone this time. Ashlyn caught a few telling phrases. Missing evolver, test subject, base of operations. Ever since the bar opened, Ashlyn had grown used to suspicious figures seeking out Ginevra. They looked rough, and trouble was written all over them. After every hush-hush talk, Ginevra would vanish for a while. Whenever Ashlyn asked where she went, Ginevra would say she was restocking supplies. Yeah, sure. What kind of supplies would leave her battered and bruised every time? Still, Ashlyn never confronted her. She understood Ginevra's reasons for lying. When the murmured discussion behind the kitchen doors ended, Ashlyn casually stepped away. With her head down, she continued to sweep. She expected the scarred man to leave quietly as usual, but this time the man who never said a word to her actually stopped to speak. It's getting rough out there. Watch your back. Startled, Ashlyn looked up. The scarred man's face twisted into something that vaguely looked like a kind smile. Dexter, you need to get ready for the mission. Ginevra, who had emerged from the kitchen at some point and was now leaning against the bar, she had spoken suddenly. Our lookout vanished. They might know where onto them. Your cover may already have been. She trailed off, but Dexter tilted his head. He understood what she was implying. What? Are you worried about me? If I don't come back, drop some flowers on my grave. Get lost. He laughed before speaking in a serious tone. Don't worry about me. In this line of work, hardly anyone meets a peaceful end. I accepted that. Besides, we promised the parents that we'd bring their children home. If not us, then who? We can't be cowards now. Ginevra smiled. Fine, make it back alive, and I'll clear your tab. Ashlyn didn't know what Dexter was about to face, but she knew one thing. Neither Ginevra nor Dexter were their real names, and more importantly, they were good people. Once, Ashlyn found a special task force ID hidden behind Ginevra's bedside drawer, so she knew they were the good guys. Hi, May. Also, hi, Ditch. Chapter 4, Strawberry Disaster Special. Your Strawberry Disaster Special, sir. The snow-like ice cream is topped with fresh strawberries and shimmering sauce. It practically begs to be tasted. As she sets down the dessert, Ashlyn slips a Protocore auction invitation beside it like a side dish. Fresh strawberries and Protocores pair surprisingly well, wouldn't you say? Mr. P ignores the invitation at first. He samples the dessert instead. Tart strawberry sauce melds with rich whipped cream to flood his taste buds. He closes his eyes and sighs contentedly. Exquisite, just as I hoped. Only then does his gaze shift to the invitation as he is recalling something. The 2036 disaster, if I'm not mistaken, it started because of a Protocore map. Is that where you got your inspiration? A third of the N109 zone's population had vanished in the chaos, but Mr. P remembers it well. Ashlyn confirms his suspicions. Unfortunately, that Protocore map was lost at the time. Seeing the faint remorse in her eyes, Mr. P offers a knowing smile. Lost? Perhaps it was stolen. You aren't suggesting Phantom Thief P did it, are you? Who knows? It's all just speculation. He chuckles softly before playfully shrugging. Maybe the map was just an excuse to shake things up from the start. Seeing his genuine smile, Ashlyn lowers her gaze to mask her curiosity. Perhaps. She idly brushes back a strand of her chestnut-colored hair. As it slips off her shoulder, Mr. P catches a glimpse of a silver windflower earring. There were no flowers in the N109 zone. Ashlyn propped her chin on her hand and stared blankly at the silver windflowers on the bar counter. Ginevra brought them in a few days ago from somewhere. Since then, Ashlyn never saw the scarred man again. Although certain people stopped visiting, Ginevra was even busier. She headed out and vanished for days. Did you hear? Even the special task force cops have their eyes on that Protocore map in the N109 zone. Where did you get that from? It can't be true. If they ever set foot here, they'd be ripped apart in seconds. Inside the bar, Ashlyn quietly wiped glasses while two customers whispered. At some point, a rumor started circulating about a priceless Protocore that was hidden in the N109 zone. It drew in greedy opportunists like moths to a flame. I heard something else. Someone says Sylus has started eating people. Sylus? Ashlyn knew that name. Actually, everyone in the N109 zone knew. This powerful lone evolver roamed the area and became a hot topic after devouring several prominent factions. Plenty of people wanted him on their side. Eating people? What's that about? You heard about some evolvers going missing, right? They say it all began after Sylus's Onakainis came into existence. Really? Does that mean I'm in danger? Oh, please. He has standards about what he devours. At midnight, Ashlyn woke up to an urgent ringing. The display showed a number she knew all too well. Ginevra's. She had been missing for months. For some reason, unease stirred in Ashlyn's heart. She quickly answered the phone. On the other end, chaos reigned. Gunshots, something like a beast's roar, and human screams. Amid the clamor, she heard Ginevra's voice. No matter what happens, don't leave Elysium. And her final words were drowned out by a massive explosion from the street. Late 2036. The N109 zone experienced its largest riot since its conception. A scramble for a protocore map soon escalated into a gang war. It engulfed every faction. The festering, rotting darkness opened like an inflamed abscess. It revealed the true face of this soul-devouring cesspit. The fighting raged for months until the weak were finally consumed and every resource was carved up. In the end, the N109 zone's turmoil disappeared and the legendary Sylus emerged as the victor. The once three-way power balance was shattered, and the lawless territory finally met its new master. Ashlyn survived untouched. She was one of the lucky few. At that time, she didn't understand why she and Elysium remained unscathed. Not until a black crow delivered its master's message. The deal is done. I'll be taking the map. Chapter 5. Today's special. A deal. That's definitely something he'd do. As Mr. P eats his last spoonful of ice cream, he still feels unsatisfied. He's curious about the past event. He picks up the menu again, and he lingers on today's special. Sweet Evil Trap. What's the story behind this? Sorry, Ashlyn offers him a regretful smile. This was made for a certain lady and isn't available to others. Who could get that kind of privilege? Mr. P has never heard of an item on the connoisseur's menu being custom made for one individual. That's confidential info. I'm afraid I can't tell you. I see. Then can you at least tell me about the side dish? Mr. P doesn't want to give up. I'd love to, but I'm afraid I can't. Ashlyn smiles slyly. I don't have the courage to serve our sponsor as a side dish. It's 3 a.m., deep into the night. After seeing off the last customer, Ashlyn goes to the bar's entrance and flips the sign from open to closed. As always, she returns to the counter and pours herself a glass of whiskey. For years, Elysium has been one of the N109 zone's top intel hubs that's backed by a powerful force. Sorry, I need to take a sip. She hasn't seen Ginevra since the riot, and from the Crow, Ashlyn learned about Ginevra's deal with that man. They traded the protocore map for Elysium's protection amid the chaos. How Ginevra got the protocore map remains a mystery. Ashlyn believes that with enough time, she'll find Ginevra and get the answers herself. From that day on, Elysium stepped into the murky depths of the N109 zone as an intel bar. As Ashlyn finishes her drink and prepares to leave, something on the corner of the counter catches her eye. Ashlyn picks up a frog plushie. She recalls that it belongs to the customer who ordered from the connoisseur's menu earlier today. As she moves to place it in the lost and found, a gift box slips from the plushie's arms. It reveals a wine-red card tucked into its seam. My dear Ashlyn, once somebody traded me a map for what's in this gift box. Now I'm returning it to its rightful owner in exchange for your splendid menu. P.S. Thank you for your hospitality tonight. Maybe I'll try the dish you created just for me next time. Yours truly, Phantom Thief P. As if sensing what's about to happen, her heart starts to pound. With trembling hands, Ashlyn opens the gift box. On soft velvet rests a stack of old bills, the very ones she once forced into Ginevra's hand. Beside them lies a yellowed slip of paper that reads, Ashlyn's protection money. Ashlyn touches her eyes that sting from her tears. After all these years, this small piece of survival finally returned home. Sorry, I always get a little teary at the end of that one. I think they're talking about Gaia subjects, Winter. I do think they are. I think they were hunting down... I don't know whether it was to save them or return them to Ever. But they were definitely hunting down Ever subjects. That much is clear. Okay. One last story for the stream. We will end today with story 15. Sketches, volume 13. Chapter 1. Featured Character. Yvette, born December 2012 on Whirl Reef Island, now part of Skyhaven Guard Station Archipelago, senior engineer and best-selling author. Admitted to the Department of Energy and Power Engineering at Whirl Reef Institute of Technology, now merged with Skyhaven University, in 2030. That same year, she began creating educational science videos and content on online platforms. In 2033, she published the science fiction novel Cloud, which gained significant attention, establishing her as a representative sci-fi author before the Chrono Rift catastrophe. After graduation, she joined the Deepspace Aviation Administration as an engineer. In 2043, following her divorce, she resigned from her engineering position to pursue writing full-time. Her influential works include Cloud, Far Sky's End, and The First Question, which have been translated into multiple languages and published worldwide. She has received numerous awards, including the White Hole Literature Award, Skyhaven Fantasy Literature Award, and the Suspense Award. In 2048, she was awarded the Skyhaven Medal of Arts and Literature. She currently resides in Lincoln City with her son, daughter, cat, and dog. Editor's note. Yvette has long been a creator I've wanted to meet. After running sketches for a year, my producer recently pointed out that our 12 episodes spanning the year have all featured academic experts from various fields. The show lacks mass appeal and entertainment value. It won't survive at this rate. The producer suggested interviewing some popular young entertainers who have both influence and talent as a year-end special. However, I've always insisted that sketches should be authentic. We spent at least a full day with our subjects, moving through multiple everyday settings for open conversations, aiming to reveal sides of them beyond public perception. Of course, I can't afford to book a young celebrity's entire day. Then I spotted Cloud. on my bookshelf. It's one of my favorite novels, consistently ranking in the top 10 bestsellers across bookstores and websites in Skyhaven's establishment. Many consider it prophetic of the Skyhaven project, and its author, Yvette, has gained immense popularity across social classes and age groups. The producer agreed readily, perhaps seeing this as the biggest compromise I could make, a literary influencer. And this is how this episode came to be. Chapter 2, Homeland. At 1 in the afternoon, I arrived as planned at Yvette's studio in Hillside Gardens, Philly district of Lincoln City, which also serves as her home. Just as she mentioned on the phone, the scent of plum blossoms signals that her house is near. The moment our cameraman frames the small courtyard with its plum tree, the front door opens, and out comes Yvette, greeting me with 2 garbage bags in hand, waving at the camera, garbage bags and all. Juniper, it's an honor to meet you. I've watched all your shows. I'm a big fan. Let me just take out the trash first. Please come in. Oh, the camera crew too. You'll need to set up your equipment, right? I've cleared some space. The crew and I stand there momentarily stunned, somewhat hesitantly entering the courtyard. The cameraman even asks if we should edit out that last bit. We end up conducting the interview under Yvette's plum tree, brewing tea in the early spring air amid the fragrance of plum blossoms. The atmosphere is wonderfully relaxed, quite different from our previous interviews with academic veterans. Sketches. When Skyhaven was completed, all former Whirlreef Island residents were granted immediate residential rights in Skyhaven and its guard stations. You're one of the few I know who gave up this right, especially considering you were working at the Deepspace Aviation Administration at the time. Yvette. It wasn't what I had imagined. I grew up on Whirlreef Island. How much do you know about it? Sketches. I did my research. It's primarily a coral island, its base eroded over time by coral-consuming microorganisms into a pivot-like pointed structure. Rich in magnetic ore, it began rotating under the planet's protofield, generating torque. This rotation ground the surrounding lakes into a perfect circle, like an ice ring. That's also why it could float skyward when the deep space tunnel's appearance altered the magnetic field and gravity vortex. Yvette. That's what the geography textbooks say. Sketches. Yes. Yvette. When your childhood home is sold and renovated, it's still the same house in the same place. But would you still call it home? What the geography textbooks don't mention is Whirlreef Island's distinct seasons, pleasant climate, abundant rainfall, and rich biodiversity. They don't tell you about the spring buds on trees, the cool summer springs, and autumn leaves dancing with migratory birds, or the setting sun through winter reed marshes. Though the island's unique geographical environment meant most residents were school faculty and researchers in geology and physics, you couldn't escape nature's subtle influence. Tell me, have you ever seen wildlife in Skyhaven? Even birds are a rare sight. Sketches. Well, Skyhaven's too high for most birds to reach. Yvette. In a few years, I might move somewhere like Windfall Tableland. I've lived by water all my life, but never experienced vast grasslands. Azure Peak and Iridum would be nice too. I've never lived in the mountains or deserts. Sketches. Moving to a new place every few years? Yvette. Yes, the world is vast and life is short. For this one precious journey, we should make it worth the price of admission. Sketches. Price of admission? When did you buy your ticket? At birth? Yvette. The wrong turns, the falls, the losses, the treasures left behind, aren't those all part of the price? Sketches. By that logic, the longer you live, the higher the price. Yvette, that's why we can't stop. Don't pause on the path you want to take. What a waste that would be. The interview concludes here as Yvette heads to her guest lecture at Skyhaven University. I specifically scheduled our talk for today to see this former researcher turned writer from a student's perspective and to return to a university classroom myself. Chapter 3, Central Theme. I hadn't expected Yvette to begin her lecture this way. As we enter the auditorium, the screen is playing a decade-old Lincoln News street interview about whether Skyhaven should be built. In 2034, intense magnetic fluctuations from the Deepspace tunnel caused several islands and land masses to break away from their tectonic plates, drawn together and suspended over Lincoln City by an unusual gravity vortex. In 2036, building on their initial success with protocore technology, Ever Corporation boldly proposed the Skyhaven project, a plan to stabilize these floating islands using high-intensity protocores, establishing self-sustaining ecosystems, and connect surrounding guard stations to create a true aerial base, pioneering new ground for human habitation. When the plan leaked, it caused a global uproar. Until then, protocore technology, still viewed with skepticism and often faced with opposition, had been limited to manufacturing hunter equipment and weapons. This marked its first application in civic infrastructure. People naturally split into two camps: the purists, who opposed the project due to risks from wanderers and protocore syndrome, and the protoists, who saw it as humanity's new dawn. Yet one of the key factors that helped the general public embrace the protoist vision was Yvette's first full-length science fiction novel, Cloud, published in 2033. In class, instead of discussing the creative process behind Cloud, Yvette engages in a conversation across time. Two sofas are placed at center stage, with Yvette sitting in the right one. Through AI-enhanced holographic projection, her 10-year younger self appears on the left sofa. She introduces her past self. Yvette, 27, Research Institute of the Deepspace Aviation Administration, Senior Engineer of the Skyhaven Initiative, science fiction author, and devoted protoist. Then she turns, playfully gesturing to herself. Yvette, 37, author, enjoys growing flowers and drinking tea, wastes time, harbors simple sentiments instead of grand ambitions. Yvette, 37. From your first online short story to the published novels Cloud and Far Sky's End, the relationship between technology and humanity has been your central theme for 5 years. Do you think this topic has been fully explored? Yvette, 27. It's inexhaustible. I believe this has been humanity's question for the past 3 centuries and remains the defining issue of our era. Each generation finds its own answers, and each generation poses new questions. Just look at the recent past. Before 2034, wind and solar power were clean but inefficient. Oil, shale, gas, and coal were limited and heavily polluting. Nuclear power carried high risks and faced public resistance. The whole world was trying to achieve nuclear fusion at room temperature to solve our energy constraints. Now, I hear even the latest nuclear power plant is about to shut down. After all, we have protocores now, cosmic energy from deep space. Yvette, 37. Do you think our reception of this cosmic energy was coincidence or inevitability? Yvette, 27. Silence. Yvette, 27. Silence. Yvette, 27. Electronic voice. I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. The audience erupts in laughter. Yvette, 37. Let's try another question. What's your real reason for supporting Ever Corporation's protocore technology development? Yvette, 27. I believe our era needs protocores. Yvette, 37. Then what about those suffering from protocore syndrome? They're no different from past radiation victims. Yvette, 27. It's like the relationship between technology and humanity that I've been exploring. How technology develops is determined by people. Yvette, 37. Do you think people can be trusted? Nuclear reactions weren't originally developed for power generation. Yvette, 27. Silence. Yvette, 27. Silence. Yvette, 27. Electronic voice. I'm sorry, I don't understand your question. Another wave of laughter ripples through the audience. Yvette, 37. Infinite energy, breakthroughs in genetics, interstellar migration becoming reality. What kind of world do you think that would create? Yvette, 27. When resources are depleted, civilizations regress. Earth is small, but space is limitless. Humanity can seek answers to all its questions in the depths of space, and the universe will respond. That's why I believe the future must be beautiful. Yvette smiles, not asking any more questions, and turns to face the students. After a moment of silence, applause breaks out. I don't join in. I'm not sure what they're celebrating. When the applause dies down, Yvette raises the microphone. Do you truly believe our world has become a better place? Those on Earth look up to Skyhaven. Those in Skyhaven gaze into deep space, and those in deep space seek to glimpse what lies beyond. Everyone has their own central question. What's yours? Chapter 4. Cloud. Leaving Skyhaven University, I accompany Yvette to pick up her child, playing the role of an eager student to continue our classroom discussion. Sketches. From what you said in class, it seems your future works will have a different central theme. Yvette. Though I've changed a lot in 10 years, I'm still myself. I just used to always look up toward the sky, and now I've turned my gaze downward, facing the earth instead of the heavens. Sketches. Yes, you were once among those closest to reaching the end of depths. Your research in protocore energy helped stabilize the floating islands beneath deep space, building cities upon them, a miracle people look up to while preventing the risks of stabilizing protofields. Just like in your novel Cloud. Yvette, you've read it. Sketches. I loved it. How do you view your work from over a decade ago? Yvette. I was quite the dreamer back then. As you saw in that opening interview, everyone was holding up my book, imagining the wonderful life after Skyhaven's completion. Humanity would gradually live above the clouds, returning Earth to itself. Those in the sky would immerse themselves in viewing Earth in its purest form without human presence. They'd watch elephant migrations and the seasonal return of migratory birds. When I wrote it, I never imagined life above the clouds would become reality in just a few years. But the Earth I described in my book never appeared, and perhaps never will. Sketches. That's why you asked that question before class ended? Yvette. Yes. Science fiction used to focus on how we'd find new homes and preserve human civilization after depleting our resources. But now that the resources problem is solved, people suddenly think they're omnipotent. We've crossed 2 eras. Before we've even figured out how to sustain civilization, we're already trying to become gods. Suddenly, everyone's lost touch with reality. Sketches, and you came back down to Earth. Yvette. The landing was a bit rough. Sketches. It wasn't just because Earth and the clouds never materialized, was it? Yvette. No. Sketches. Leaving the Deep Space Aviation Administration, and later the divorce, all of that? Mommy! A boy holding a girl's hand runs out from Skyhaven's elementary gates, throwing himself into Yvette's arms. I stop questioning, suddenly unsure how to proceed, though Yvette seems completely at ease. Yvette, at the Aviation Administration, my ex-husband and I were considered the perfect couple. High school sweethearts who joined the administration together. I researched energy. He became a pilot. Then he joined the Far Space Fleet, and after that, we divorced. Sketches, whispering. Is it okay to discuss this in front of the children? Girl, why wouldn't it be? Mommy doesn't love Daddy anymore, so of course she can leave. Boy, yeah, it's been a while since we've seen Daddy. Yvette, should we try our luck up there? We might see him. Boy, yay, we get to visit the Skyhaven Ring again. I'm about to take my leave when Yvette unexpectedly invites me along. She tells me that meeting her ex-husband might naturally answer the questions lingering in my mind. At Skyhaven's peak, the Skyhaven Ring resembles an aureole above a deity's head, encircling the highest guard station, home to the Far Space Fleet base. Protocore energy flows through this massive celestial ring, creating streams of light in spectacular rainbow of colors. For every child with dreams of piloting mechs, it's an irresistible sight. Sketches. If you don't like Skyhaven, why have your children attend school here? Yvette, the educational resources are excellent, and when they first started elementary school, I was still working at the Aviation Administration. Sketches. Do you hope they'll follow in yours and your ex-husband's footsteps? Yvette. They'll make their own choices. I can't interfere with that. Though if I'm honest, I'd prefer they don't become scientists. Humanity won't die from progressing too slowly. But take too big a leap, and you'll not only stumble, you'll lose your way entirely. Yvette's attention is drawn to two tall figures standing in the reception area. Dad! The boy rushes forward, but the officer turns and instinctively moves to protect the young colonel behind him, his hand shooting out to block the boy. Undeterred, the boy wraps himself around the very arm, trying to push him away. Dad! Liam, they came to see you. Yvette approaches with the girl, and I notice the complex emotions in the officer's eyes as his son clings to him. Wariness, unfamiliarity, hesitation. Before finally settling into neutrality, he turns to his colonel, seemingly asking for permission, then nods and reluctantly pats the children, his touch lacking any paternal warmth. Family is important, adjunct Liam. Spend some time with them tonight. The colonel's words are considerate, but his tone lacks any real emotion. The girl is clearly more mature than her brother, and she says, There's no need. It's boring with Dad. My brother will want to leave soon. You'll hurt your father's feelings saying that. He won't care. Like mother, like daughter. The colonel gazes at Yvette with a perfectly measured smile, which she meets with ice in her eyes. I want to know what's out there in deep space that makes you so willing to abandon everything here on Earth. Humanity's problem was never about energy. It's about refusing to let go of what we already have, even when it becomes worthless. A tethered kite will never reach the far sky, Miss Yvette. Sure enough, the boy soon leaves his father's side, returning to bury his face against Yvette's leg. She strokes his head as she lifts him up, turning back to face the colonel. I'm working on a new book, Colonel Caleb. You might be interested. It's called Heartless. The young man nods. I wish you success. Afterwards, on the way back, I recall Yvette's question in class when her virtual self reverted to artificial idiot mode. Can humans be trusted? She answered that while she doesn't trust humans, she trusts human nature, just as she believes humanity will find a path beyond protocore technology. Later, when Heartless is published, I ask if she chose the title because of how Liam has changed. Yvette just smiled faintly and says, It's because Heartless rhymes with coreless. I don't know how much Yvette knows about the chip, But given her abilities as a scientist, I think she has some idea. But she definitely doesn't have the backing or the ability to take on the fleet or ever. She has 2 children she has to protect. So whatever she may suspect, I think she keeps to herself. But it's clear she's pissed. And she's angry. And that she blames the fleet. And I think that last line is incredibly telling about how much she actually knows. And her understanding of what the chip does. Coreless. The chip burns away the core of the person it's implanted into. It rewrites them. Makes them machines. Dolls. Easily maneuvered. And it's an interesting outside perspective from Caleb. Though, I wonder how much of Caleb in this moment is him playing a part. I mean, they're standing in the midst of everything. It's not like he can pretend to be anything other than he is. So I think in some ways, I don't know how much of what is coming out of Caleb's mouth is the chip or Caleb playing at being chipped, if that makes sense. But yes. Whew. All right, my children. Here endeth today's reading corner. I hope you have enjoyed these stories from the world underneath. Next week, we will begin with Story 16, Utopian Roamer. And then I do believe, so next week I would like to go through stories 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. 20 will finally get us to where I last left off. Would it be alright, children, if Mama IOU'd on the battle? I'll make a little note to myself for next week's stream that I owe a battle. Oof. So yes, we are starting to get into where I last kind of left off with World Underneath, and when I decided to stop reading so I could share my first reactions with my first reactions and discoveries with all of you. So yes, so next week we will hopefully we will get through these 5. My goal currently is 5 stories a stream, so I think we've got 1, 2, 3 more weeks of World Underneath. And then I will start, then we will transition, I should say, over to the myths. And we will do, and I will work my way through there. So we will, and of course then once we get through the myths, we'll move on to the Memoria. So, all the story, children. We got a long road to hoe. But yes, I hope for those of you who have not been having the best of days today, that this stream was soothing for you and you were able to relax and enjoy. If I was able to serve as a body double for you while you did chores and things, that's great. I can't wait till we get a main story update. As a side note, and I think it's a understanded expectation, but just so I'm communicating with all of you this, if the main story drops, depending on when it drops, and let's say we're scheduled to do a world underneath, I will shift out Void Side Chat to do the main story update. If it's close enough. So like if the main story drops on Monday or Sunday. But if the main story drops after a Tuesday and before Sunday, I will most likely do a special stream to celebrate the main story drop and do a full reaction to everything. I'm thinking of, depending on when the new update drops, doing a stream for that as well, so that we can go through all the new updates and whatever comes our way and just kind of make it our own little party to hang out and experience first impressions and all of that. So keep an eye out for that. I will let you know when that gets scheduled. Obviously, it's going to depend on the announcement of when the update hits. But yeah, so I've got a lot of things. Yes, I want to that's what I'm saying. Mel, I want to live stream the update. Yes, exactly, like how we did Netherlord. Oh, good, Davina. I'm glad that I was able to get you guys some... If there's one thing I'm learning about my children, is that y'all need to fucking sleep. So yes, it's gonna be like our watch parties and our pull parties. So when the next update drops, we'll do a big old party and we'll explore the whole update. We'll look at the whatever new features have dropped, any main story, everything involved in the event itself. So we will explore together, my children. You know, Mother feeds you. Leave me and my front door alone. It was an accident. It was one time. One time, children. That is absolutely fair. Sometimes when things drop, it's just the timing. Finding a good timing so that all of you are able to attend if you want. It was one time, Nikki. You don't get to slide in here at the end. Yes, I'm gonna open. I legitimately have visions of opening my front door to a gaggle of raccoons. Arms outstretched, being like, Mother! So, with that said, as a reminder, tomorrow, Nikki will be streaming, as always, her cozy little stream with Kitty Cards and Crane Games and Battle for Love and Deepspace, so be sure to check that out. We will be recording the newest episode. You are adorable, raccoons, darling. Never doubt Mama's love for her crazy raccoons. You're adorable. New episode, of course, will be dropping Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific, so look out for that. As well as my 6 o'clock stream, 6 o'clock Pacific. Still don't know what I'm doing yet. Well, you'll know when I know what I'm streaming on Thursday. And of course, we've got our Midnight Masochism on Saturday, and Nikki reading Dante's Inferno on Sundays. So be sure to join for that. As always, we practically stream every day because we also have Final Fantasy Fridays. So whether you are in it for the horror, the mystery games, or whether you're in it for the RPG games and the fighting games, or Love and Deepspace, know that Mama and Nikki have you at least one day a week. Choose your stream, children. And until then, I will say thank you. And good afternoon, good evening, good morning, and good night to my YouTube folks. As always, thank you, Winter and Night of the Living Cookie and Mad Kitty. And Laquan, I know you were there for a little bit. And I thought I saw maybe Kara sneaking in. Sky Eve, thank you. And Oblique Dreams. Thank you all for chatting and hanging out, and to my lurkers over in YouTube, thank you so much for hanging. I will see you next time and next week for some more reading corner with Mama.